to upper 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Have you heard the news? Capital Tractor will soon be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. With lots of Kubota inventory, we're going to sell it instead of move it. Our big moving sale is a great time to get a great deal on a Kubota at Capital Tractor in Montgomery.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville is taking on the word weird as it's being applied to Republicans by Kamala Harris and other Democrats. Harris started using the word weird to describe Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance. Tuberville was on Newsmax when the topic came up.
You know, when you hear the statement, men can get pregnant and have women, you know you're dealing with not just weird, you're dealing with crazy. I mean, these people have lost their minds, and they absolutely believe it. And they're pushing that narrative on our kids. That's what gets me. But again, going back to what these Democrats are saying, they have not done one thing to help the American people. They spend money, they're big government, they've started wars, they opened borders, they got crime rampant. What in the world is Kamala Harris selling to the American people and Joe Biden or wherever he's at? Nobody's seen him. But it just absolutely amazes me to see how these people try to push a narrative that is so false.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
Today marks 25 years since two teenage girls went missing in the Dothan area only to be found murdered. J.B. Beasley and Tracy Hollett were 17-year-olds who were found shot to death after they got lost on their way to a party back in 1999. DNA testing found a murder suspect 2 decades later who was then prosecuted in 2022. Coley McCraney was then convicted in 2023 and is currently appealing his conviction. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, miss, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his hand. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon, or as we're calling this thing online, Joey Clark Live. I'm Joey. Eddie Bader's in the studio with me. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Joey?
Doing all right. Coach Tommy Tuberville will be joining us in the 2 o'clock hour. Also, State Rep Philip Ensler meeting with one of our Democratic friends, but he's actually got a lot of insights of what's happening with Israel. But of course, we'll talk local crime. I believe he also got stuck in that whole CrowdStrike breakdown of the airline system. So talk to him about his experience there. And right now, as is tradition on Wednesdays, we have the one, the only Jeff Poor on the line, host of the Jeff Poor Show, 106.5 FM, the Mobile area. And also editor-in-chief at 1819 News. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So were you transfixed to the TV watching Megan Thee Stallion perform for Kamala?
I didn't know who she was until somebody, Dell Jackson, had to explain it to me, and I connected the dots, and I thought, wow, what an interesting choice to roll out your one of your first big splashes of your presidential campaign.
Mm-hmm. And I almost worry that Republicans should not get into a celebrity competition with the Democrats. I mean, I prefer Hulk Hogan all day, every day, brother, but I think they do in terms of Hollywood and the big popular stars, say like a Taylor Swift. I think the Democrats have the juice there.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think Megan Thee Stallion is, the A-lister they were looking for. Yeah, Taylor Swift, you got to roll that out. I mean, whatever it may be, but the Republicans, you're right, don't have a leg up here. I don't know, though, or how much of it is. I mean, is that the key to Kamala Harris' presidency? Is she is going to do these rallies all over the country, and that she has to have some kind of A-list opening act, or even B-list for that matter?
Yeah, just to attract people to these things. And I just find also the sort of, if you're going to say something, Donald, say it to my face. And Trump's like, I've been willing to say it. What are you even talking about? Crazy. You're just crazy. So I just don't think this is going to last very long in terms of the momentum for Harris. But do you think I'm off base?
I agree with that. And I'll say this. I said this earlier. Look, they've had a good first week, Joey. They've done everything right. They've executed properly. But the problem is the results have just not been there. They've moved some votes. They've moved the needle. And I said this all along. Maybe the product of this is they taking Democrat voters and making them likely Democrat voters. For Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States, she has to take Trump voters and turn them into Harris voters. And I don't know that she's capable of that.
Yeah, and I really don't see it myself, but who do you think is going to be the VP at this point in the conversation?
I don't know. I mean, the logical choice ought to be a Shapiro, West Coast with Harris, and he gives you that East Coast presence. I told Dale this morning. I know folks are big on Mark Kelly. Number one, I don't think Kelly gives you enough electoral college votes. Pennsylvania is the way to go. But number two, I think Kelly's got a little more baggage. Here's the problem they're running up against on the Democrat side with this hurry-up offense. When you vet your vice presidential running mate candidates, I mean, you have to – it takes months typically. But what's going on here is they're having to do this in days or weeks, or maybe they have a month to do this. But I think next week she's scheduled a campaign with whoever her running mate may be, and they're going to miss a lot of stuff here that they're not going to be prepared for.
Yeah, and then as I think James Carville said just last week, the ice pick cometh from the Republicans. So, and and also on this note of, I talk about it all the time, the divide in this country between single men and single women. And I'm biased because I'm a single young guy, but I think James Carville or somebody like him is right when he says the Democratic Party's got too many preachy females, too many preachy women. But it does seem like it's sort of girl power versus sort of the Joe Rogan sphere at this moment right now.
Well, I think maybe, but maybe that's just sort of a circumstance that exists kind of in the online social media world. I don't know, but you're right, Joey. A lot of this is so like kind of contrived. It's sort of like it feels very astroturfish, very manufactured to me. Like the white dudes for Kamala Harris, or black women for Kamala. Like that says to me like astroturf and like ginned up. It doesn't seem like a very true grassroots thing. It's instead of bottom up, it feels top down.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see as this plays out over the coming weeks. And you're right. This has been it's been remarkable to watch the turn on a dime of not just the Democratic Party and say the bosses within the Democratic Party, your Clintons, your Pelosi's, your Schumer, Obamas, but the media themselves, like how they took this turn of, okay, Joe Biden can't be the guy anymore, and now we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. Trump wasn't shot almost in the face, and we're just going to now focus on how weird J.D. Vance and Trump are. It's pretty remarkable, sitting from where I'm sitting, I'm now paying attention to this stuff, how quickly they can change narratives.
Mm-hmm. They're very good at it, but what are they getting out of it? And, yeah, the polls have moved, but for this kind of, like, effort, for this sort of, like, cult-like adherence to a talking point, like just reading from the script, and they're getting called out on it right and left, they're not moving anything. This isn't like this is a honeymoon phase. At some point, this is going to be a less reliable tactic. It's not going to move the needle because people are going to become desensitized or skeptical of it. I really think that. But what do they have left in the bag here? And then I don't know. Maybe I need to wait and see here. But this is your big opening salvo, first splash, which is okay, but it's not. It hasn't hurt her, which is probably she's got a low bar. But they have raised the bar so high for Kamala Harris right now. I don't think she can live up to these expectations.
Right. She'll go under and be like, I thought we were doing the limbo here.
Exactly.
So on the Republican side, do you think they need to continue to emphasize and not let go the assassination attempt? Because, say that testimony given by now the acting director of the Secret Service, there's still no clear answers to what the heck happened with these security failures. And it seems like, say, corporate media doesn't want to talk about this anymore, but, there's a little more power in, say, the right-wing media sphere these days. Do you think that's something that should be continually hammered home all the way to Election Day?
Well, I think at least as far as the role of Congress, because like whether it's Democrat or Republican Congresses, who's in charge of the chambers, they do play a role in your presidential election. And the Republicans did it with Hillary and Benghazi. Democrats tried to do it with January 6th, but nothing much comes of it. But as far as what they could do, at least what Republicans can do, and I think some Democrats are upset with this. I'll explain that in a second. But as far as what they could do, I think it's fine in this realm of Capitol Hill. I don't know that you could have Trump surrogates going out to a swing state and really making that your narrative and really swaying much of the vote. But I think for now it's a good approach. But I think, Joey, I think the Democrats, what you're seeing a little more tolerance from them on this narrative is this, that what if the Secret Service did its job that day and didn't allow for the possibility of Trump being shot at and taking care of this threat? I mean, Trump would not be as sitting as good as he is right now in the eyes of the American people, and they would have a better path to the presidency. I think for that reason, Democrats look at it, they're like, yeah, if you had just done your job, Secret Service, this would be like one less thing that we have to deal with.
It's kind of like when everybody was pissed at James Comey. I see what you mean, like for different reasons, but they're still mad at the same person or same institution.
Yeah, so for that reason, I mean, you can't have the Secret Service fail at its job,
right?
Because it does have political implications. I mean, if anything, and this is maybe the narrative Republicans need to adopt, this is like out in the public, in front of your face, in front of your eyes. You have one job, Secret Service, and the Secret Service is this bad at their job. How do you think that the Department of Treasury is doing, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Education, Department of State? Go down your list, Department of Justice, of all the cabinet departments. I mean, it just has to be layers and layers of bureaucratic incompetence if the cream of the crop here is failing at its job like it is.
Do you have any concern at all, shifting gears here, that wider war is about to break out in the Middle East with Israel assassinating Hamas and I think Hezbollah leaders now? It's not just one person that was killed as they were visiting Tehran for the new Iranian president being sworn in. What's your sense of this? Are you even really watching this?
I am absolutely concerned. I'm like, some of my listeners are like, oh, you don't understand here. But, like, I'm not saying Israel wasn't justified in what they did. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done what they had done. What you must acknowledge in your risk assessment of doing something like this is that you violated the sovereign border of Iran. And that this is going to potentially cause Iran to react. How will they react? This is an escalation. Now, look, the Iranians look at Israel, but they also look at the U.S. as enabling Israel. But they launch terror attacks on the U.S. or something. But either way, crossing that border, once you cross that line, this isn't Gaza, this isn't Lebanon, this is Iran. And they flew over whatever, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, or wherever, Jordan, to get there and launch this attack. Let's say, I don't know how they did it, but the point is they crossed boundaries here. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I am saying there will be, I believe, a fallout.
Yeah, and I worry that the Middle East, for better or for worse, not to sound like Bismarck, is held together by iron and blood. And as soon as things really break out in that region of the world, who knows? Yeah, just look, Hezbollah threatening Cyprus, that tiny island. I know Turkey's been fighting with them for a long time. Then Turkey's got the Kurds right there on their doorstep who kind of always wanted their own state. And who the heck knows what happens with all the ethnic problems in Iraq and across, the Arabs against, say, the Persians. It could be a mess real quick if an actual big shooting war happens. And I worry sometimes that Bibi Netanyahu in particular is very much counting on I can get away with this because I got those U.S. warships right off the coast of Lebanon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this is what we must acknowledge in how to proceed accordingly, is it just has implications. Because, like, the argument that I had with sort of some of my listeners this morning was like, no, Jeff, they should have done what they did. They were were justified. All of this is that Hezbollah and Hamas is doing is bad, bad, bad. And when you have an October 7th situation, you're totally. But that's not the point. The point is, like, Iran they're not an impartial actor, but they are a separate entity, and they have sovereign soil. And I don't know how. And I try to analogize it by saying, what if Russia launched an attack while Zelensky's in Washington, D.C., and launched an airstrike against him and killed him on U.S. soil?
Right.
What would be the reaction?
Yeah, I was getting the opposite. I've got a lot of libertarian friends who think, Israel's an apartheid state committing genocide. So the extremes of the arguments can go pretty extreme, but I think you and I are on the same page looking at this pragmatically, that I think it would just be a travesty. And also, as soon as violence gets going, it tends to sing its own song, and who knows where it will go. But we'll see.
Well, and one more thing on that, Joey, and maybe this may be for your libertarian-minded listeners that are, at least skeptical of Israel. Like, I already thought that, like, Netanyahu was kind of skating on thin ice here, unwarranted thin ice, but the way the U.S. was reacting to him and the way our media was treating Israel, just really, really poorly. The court of public opinion, what does this do? Does it matter? Is another question.
Yeah, you do have to wonder that Democratic coalition could be a bit fragile and frayed because of this. So I guess we shall see. But I'm out of time here for this segment. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so, Jeff?
Twitter.com/Jeff_Poor.
Appreciate it, man. Talk again soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Again, Jeff Poor, always appreciate his time. And yeah, we're a little all over the map because the news is all over the map.
All over the place.
Again, we have State Representative Philip Insler on. We're going to talk some of the local crime issues, some of what might be coming up in the next legislative session, like what state agendas going on with concern for the local community. But of course, I want to ask Representative Insler, ask Philip about what's going on with Israel.
Okay.
Because I know he is very much read into that and leads the local community, Jewish community here in many ways, one of the leaders, and he they had a seminar, I believe, online about the latest of what's been happening. So I'd like to understand his perspective on it, as well as he was stuck I think they were in New York to be at the stock exchange. He was up there with students, and they got stuck because of the CrowdStrike failure and couldn't fly Delta, which Delta, the last few times I've flown, I've done Delta. It's worth the extra money because it has been on time. I've been lucky. Like, it's been on time, no problems. The only person we get to Atlanta and the connecting flight from Atlanta to Montgomery, somebody goes, we weigh too much. The lady next to me, who is a sweetheart, works with veterans here in the area.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, crap, I think that's me. I have like a 50-pound pillow in my... So little things can happen on those tiny planes, those
Is
connecting
this what
flights.
inspired you to start working out, losing weight?
No, it was more, I was fatter than you.
Oh.
I had to give out a scholarship in my mother's name at Catholic.
And how'd that work out?
And I'm sitting there realizing, and I said in my little introduction, I'm like, it's good to see everybody. Usually I don't see anybody other than my fat co-host, though I learned that he's fatter, or I'm fatter than him now. So I guess the diabetes is on the other foot, so to speak.
So where are you at today? Did you weigh today?
I ate a big burger, so I'm 213 today.
Woo!
I ate a Five Guys, like double patty burger, and I think if I just ate that, I'd still be about 210, 211. But I ate like an entire bag of Cajun fries.
Well, you saw I left yesterday with a pie. I had 3 slices of pie and a piece of cake.
So you're up too?
212.
Yep. See, this is what happens. We got to get back on it. We'll both get under 210 here before.
Oh, yeah. Man, I didn't have the burger sounds really good. That's something like that I've been craving.
Oh, it was freaking great. It was my grandfather's idea.
Yeah.
Like, let's get Five Guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not? 272-9228. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Randall.
One thing I wanted to lay out there and see if you what you thought. Do you think, since all this attempting to war, do you think that they're going to go have Congress vote in a war, and then if they move Kamala up in his place to be president to finish out the term, she'll be a wartime president, or that's just too much? And I'm talking it's too much out my butt. Which as long as Congress, you know what I mean, okay, the war, and ain't like the rest of them, like the president said okay. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do they bump her up before they even run her for president?
That would make her a stronger nominee to be
Right.
a president and be claiming I'm this wartime president. And under extreme circumstances, Congress could pull things back. But right now, presidents have massive authority, just executive authority, to engage in war overseas. I think it's unconstitutional. I think it's wrong. I don't think it fits actually our legal system.
No.
But it's been the trend since Truman. So, like, this is the reality. And I don't think you're off base, Randall. They very well could say, get out of here, Joe.
Yeah.
And she becomes president. And I think that does make her a stronger nominee.
Yeah, but to own that, if Congress don't declare war and she does it by pen, she got to run for president, right? But if Congress votes it in, can she just ride the wartime thing out? Is that how that works, or is it a different way?
No, either way, she's got to run for president.
Mhm.
Like, even in the Civil War, we had presidential election.
All right, simple. I didn't know if they can go around it. All right, brother. Man, I love y'all, dog.
Love you too, Randall.
Appreciate it, Randall.
See you, brother.
Love you, brother. Let's go to a break here in a second. But first, this part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. So at All Pro, they can help you. You should have done this like last month. You should have done this in May.
Yeah.
But if you haven't had a checkup on that AC system,
Dude, you're playing with fire.
and because it's working, even if your system is like tip-top shape, it's still working overtime.
Well, a day like today, Rich Thomas said maybe 105.
Right.
And then we've got these thunderheads popping up, so the humidity factor, man,
Right.
it can make, if you got no AC, it could be absolutely miserable.
And All Pro can come by, do a checkup,
Yeah.
or maybe you need a little bit of an upgrade. And maybe it is time, 20, 30-year-old home. Could be time you need a new system.
Right.
They can help you with all of that there at All Pro. Of course, they can also help you with, if talk about storms going to be rolling through.
Dude.
And it seemed, it's not been bad yet, but when you see, did you see yesterday on the horizon how those clouds are rolling in? Rolling thunder indeed.
Right now, it's like I said, those thunderheads are popping up.
And so if you're worried that, okay, you're going to lose power, which happens, but you need that power to stay on for all sorts of reasons. Maybe you're elderly and you have medical devices.
Maybe you work from home.
Maybe you work from home and you need that power always on. They can install a Generac generator for you there at All Pro. So y'all check out All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical today. You can always go to allproheatingair.com or give them a call at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. They'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group and an update on the real estate market in the River region. Sales of homes for the last 5 months will top 1,900 homes. Even though sales are slightly lower, the average sales price is still climbing. First-home homebuyers comprise over 34% of all sales, with no slowdown in sight for them. We now have more homes on the market in all price ranges, which gives buyers more choices than they've had in over 2 years. Some helpful suggestions for today's home buyer would be: 1. Work with a local lender for your loan approval. 2. List 3 must-haves for your new home and seek to find properties to match your needs. 3. Work with an experienced and knowledgeable real estate agent to help you with your search, your showings, and receive advice on offers and negotiations. 4. Always use a licensed recommended home inspector when you find the home you choose. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-488-2594. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-488-2594. That's 800-488-2594. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi everybody. This is Rich Thomas, starting on a very hot note with triple-digit heat indices, heat advisory criteria, and not many storms on the radar over the next few days. Actual highs will be in the upper 90s, triple-digit 105 or higher heat indices, and lows at night in the mid to upper 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
Hello, this is David Ernest with Ernest Financial. And just like Ernest Financial makes lots of money for our clients, Blue Water has helped us make lots of money for our company. You cannot go wrong with advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River Region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. But hold your horses, because not only is Eddie still here. How you doing, Eddie?
Doing well. How you doing, Joe?
We now have State Rep Philip Insler here in the studio. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be here. Good to be back. And I was trying to think the last time I was on. Time seems to fly by, so it's good to be back here.
Yeah, good to see you. So first, how do you think what's going on here locally? Because obviously on this show, and I've talked to many folks involved with crime here in the area, from the DA to the sheriff's office to the mayor to state representatives like Reed Ingram and State Senator Barfoot. And I know there's a lot of buzz behind the scenes on a package of bills and different approaches to the crime issue. So what are you hearing in your conversation?
Yeah, I mean, let me begin by saying this, that is a issue that I hear from constituents all throughout my district, white, black, Democrat, Republican, concerned particularly about gun violence. And they know that the government can't stop everything. I hear from everyone that it starts at home. It starts with a good value system. But they also say, for those of us that are in office, especially those of us in the state legislature, they want us to, I often hear, quote unquote, do something. And that do something, there are obviously, like you said, a lot of different approaches. What I share is that there are some things that we can do that may make a difference. They're not going to stop every act of gun violence. They're not going to stop all crime, but we're there to be lawmakers. And to the extent that we can do things, last year I proposed, and it got very close to passing, this bill banning Glock switches, which are already illegal on the federal level. I get the question of, well, why do it on the state level? It's already illegal. The answer to that is that our district attorneys in the state right now can't charge and prosecute people for a state offense. So what happens is, if Montgomery police or the sheriffs pick someone up with one of these devices, they have to turn it over to the federal government. And the DOJ, ATF, I mean, they often go after kind of the bigger fish.
Right.
So there is an argument to be had that it should be on the state level. Now, look, and this is where some of us may disagree. Sure. I don't want to end up with a situation where we're overly incarcerating people for having them. But hopefully what it does is send a message to deter people from using them in the first place. And of course, are people going to break the law? Are people still going to have them even if it's illegal? Yes. But my argument is, we have stop signs for a reason. We have, speed limits. People are still going to break the law, but you do it to deter them. And then, of course, if they break it, have a consequence. So I think that that's one way we can go about it. What I have seen in other places that has worked the best, though, is violence prevention efforts, where you reach particularly young people before they pick up a gun, before they go ahead and get into an altercation. So things like having conflict resolution in schools, identifying young people that are already getting caught up in the criminal justice system, working with them to identify, how do we teach them, ways to deal with that anger, deal with that emotion. Those are all things that they're not necessarily laws, but they're one way we can go about it. All that to say, there are things that between Democrats and Republicans that we disagree on how to go about it. But I've worked very closely with particularly with representatives that are either current or former law enforcement. Representative Treadway from the Birmingham area has been great. Rex Reynolds from up in Huntsville, and Bedsole as well, Representative Bedsole. There are a few that we've been able to say, look, we're not going to agree on everything when it comes to crime and public safety, but there are things where we can reach that common ground, and that's what I think most people want is us to get things done.
Well, and with one other idea I heard that probably could get done is, and I know it had been worked on in years past, is if you commit a, say, felony or you commit a crime, you can always get into the details, and the commission of that crime, you have a firearm, you lose your right to have a firearm. I think that sounds like a generally good rule.
Right, and that makes sense, and I know that there is a system in place where law enforcement can then run that check to see if someone does have a felony, to see then if they, are not allowed to be in possession of it. So I think that makes sense as well, and that's something where you will find, I think, that bipartisan support, because it really, as cliche as it may sound, it's not a Democrat or Republican issue. It really is something that it's a human issue.
Right.
And there's always more details to it. I have not had Treadway on, but he wrote a recent op-ed that it laid out a lot more. People think of like permitless carry, constitutional carry was just no permit, but he laid out, I think it was a good argument, I'd love your opinion on it, that the check system, the background check system was different for all the different counties. Like, it wasn't a very sound system even in the first place to actually check folks who have firearms without, and who shouldn't, for instance.
Right, and I, he and I talked about that point, that there is another mechanism to check, where, and I have a lot of respect for him, we work well together. Where I disagree, though, is from what I've heard from a lot of law enforcement, particularly in Montgomery, and our sheriff, is that the permitless carry has made their job harder, and they did warn that that's just taking one tool away. Again, it's not going to stop all the use of illegal use of firearms. It's not going to stop every bad or kind of malicious situation, but ultimately, if our law enforcement, particularly our sheriff, who I respect a lot, if he's saying, hey, this is going to make our job harder, I think if we're going to back the blue, we got to actually follow through on that.
Now, on the conversation of crime in general, because there was a rise across the nation, people are now arguing over FBI statistics and reporting and all that. But what do you think, say, if you look at Montgomery, Birmingham, but in particular our area, why do you think there has been a rise, say, in shootings and violent crime in the last few years?
Yeah, so look, I don't have a crystal ball where I can, predict or say exactly why. I will say that, from the statistics that are out there, that they do indicate that violent crime is down. So I think if people want to kind of argue with the numbers, well, what did Patrick Moynihan say? You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts. So all that to say, a good friend of mine here in Montgomery once said to me, he said, I don't care about, he put it a little bit more colorfully. He said, I care about your statistics, if I've lost my daughter to gun violence or I've lost a child. And, that really resonated with me, because yes, the statistics do tell the truth, and the statistics are ultimately the bigger picture, but we also have to have that empathy and recognize that for someone who has been a victim of crime or has a family that has gone through that we have to understand that no matter how good the statistics are, that if that person, if that family, has gone through something, we can't delegitimize that. We have to actually say that that's how they feel. The answer, or your question about what has led to it. Look, I've read all sorts of analyses that say, well, it started with the pandemic. It started with more people being at home. It started with more social isolation. There was that kind of pent up anger and emotion. People were home more. They were interacting less. I think that's part of it. I think, as I said before, and this is what I hear from constituents, a lot of it, though, is also, it's not related to any sort of policy or government law. It is that we have to have, that strong family structure. That is something that people can disagree on that, but I'm just saying what I hear in the community, that is really important. So I think that's part of it, but also, look, we have to make sure that we are adequately funding, our schools, and, have affordable housing, and have good health care, and have mental health services. I mean, all these things that can contribute to someone not feeling as worthy. I do a lot of work, and we've talked about this thing with young people and a lot of mentorship. And recently I ask young people all the time, I'm like, what do you think is contributing to gun violence, or what can be done to address it? And, one of them said, well, Mr. Ensler, I go to my school and the ceiling, is falling down, the floor is all uprooted, and, the textbooks are 15 years old. I walk into school and I already feel like I don't matter as much. And I think it starts with some of that then self-esteem. Now, look, you can have beautiful schools, beautiful buildings. It's more than that. Sure. But all that to say, I think it's a lot of factors, that we have to be able to say it's a big puzzle that we have to address all the different pieces of it.
Oh, and when I looked into, say, crime intervention programs around the nation, at first I kind of balked at the idea, we'll model ourselves after Baltimore or Chicago. I was like, eh. But then I did look into, in particular, Oakland had this thing called ceasefire for a long time. And then they went away from it and the numbers started going back up. But it seemed to work in the sense that you had the combination of very tough on folks that did not want to change their ways, who were trying to rope people into the gang life. You had police assets that could be very tough on those folks. But then you had, at the same time, a lot of programs to pull kids away from that, give them opportunity away from that. So, and it seemed to work very well in Oakland for a time. I don't know why they went away from it, and but that's administration and can be that way.
Right, and here in Montgomery, I know Mayor Reed has proposed $6 million to go towards that kind of violence prevention, where the idea is that you reach young people and intervene, in the community. You have people in certain neighborhoods, or identify, based off of maybe where there's higher crime, identify people in the neighborhood that you can then train up in conflict resolution and de-escalation, and that way have those what you call boots on the ground that really can intervene, and those have worked in other places. And of course we have to tailor it and do it specifically to a way that works for Montgomery, but I think that those kinds of approaches can make a significant difference.
Well, and it just seems to me that I'm at the point of, whether it's city, county, state, Democrat, Republican, whatever, we gotta start fixing the problem and focusing on the problem. And I think, yes, a holistic way with a lot of ideas. And it does seem like, even at the state level where conservatives and Republicans dominate, there's a lot of buy-in on we got to do something. I mean, what's your first blush of the idea of a state takeover if their force levels aren't at a certain, say, average based on the last few years? This idea the AG could step in.
Yeah, so I oppose that bill, and the reason for that is that law enforcement, public safety is something that we do allow cities and mayors. That is a responsibility of theirs. And for government, for the state to come in and play this kind of big government role where they're taking over, that is usurping, that's taking away what is a responsibility and role of the city. Now, I recognize if people have concerns about if crime is going up in certain places, but I don't think that that's the, that kind of top-down, heavy-handed approach is a way to do it. I think focusing on, let's make sure at the state legislature that we are allowing cities to do everything they can. I know it's controversial with some people. No one likes taxes.
At what point? I mean, when your citizens are really have had enough, and your mayor, it really looks like don't give a shit about your citizens, then at what point do you look to other government and say, hey, help me out here? Help me out here.
So I think, in Montgomery, there have been efforts including, the occupational tax. And I know that people don't like taxes.
You can't tax your way out of it no more than you can hug your way out of it.
Right. But that would have helped fund public safety to have
public safety funding is not an issue. We don't have enough cops. We got the money for them. We don't have enough.
Right. But if we had even more funding, you can pay for these violence prevention efforts. You can have even higher salaries. You can have more incentives. So I just say that to say that there are things that the state can do that I think would be more helpful than just taking over and having that heavy-handed approach. I don't know that helps. Look, we see this with the takeover sometimes of school districts, and someone could argue that it
worked last time, right?
So the argument that I would make with it that approach is not always for schools. It's one thing because we have a lot of educational laws that are state laws that the cities have to, or the school boards then have to follow through on. When it comes to public safety, every city is a little bit different as far as how they approach it.
Well, and I wouldn't be shocked that every mayor in the state would be against this. I think it's just a common sense thing that the local governments don't want to take over, or even the threat of a takeover. They're having recruitment problems. But there is another aspect of this that also state lawmakers can look at. It's more the judicial side. And I still think, we can blame it on the pandemic or whatnot, but the judicial system seems a bit constipated, a bit backed up in terms of caseload. And it makes me wonder, do we need more judges? Do we need more resources in that regard?
Yeah, I absolutely think that we do, and that's a huge issue. And for both, the constitutional rights of defendants to say that they're, entitled to a speedy trial, but then also for victims and for the community, to wait, 2, 3, 4 years, for a trial or for something to happen. That's not fair, to either side, of the situation. And I, in Alabama right now, we fund our court system a lot on fines and fees. So if someone, gets in trouble with the court, or gets in trouble with the law, they owe, say $50 here, $100 there. The issue is that a lot of those are lower income people, or poor people that can't afford to pay those. So we rely on that to fund our court system.
Right.
And one proposal that's been out there is say, well, hey, like other things, you should put it in the general fund. You should have a line item instead of relying on these fines and fees that you're not actually going to collect. And then actually the state spends money trying to enforce it.
Right.
So even just looking at that funding mechanism to think about, well, can we make our court system more efficient, more effective? Because that's a big issue. And look, and along those lines, this comes up a lot. People bring up, bail and bond and saying, well, wait a second, if someone, does impose a public safety threat, again, there has to be that balance of certainly their constitutional due process right. We have to make sure we're doing everything to abide by that. But on the other hand, people want to see reform, to make sure that we're balancing those constitutional rights with public safety.
Again, folks, are talking to State Rep Philip Insler, and there's a lot more I want to talk about that isn't local, because I know you got caught up in the whole CrowdStrike Delta thing, right?
Oh, I did. Yep.
Yeah. And so I want to just talk about that experience. And I know you just did a web seminar about recently what's going on in Israel and around that part of the world, and just would like your take on everything that's going on. But we got a lot of calls rolling in. So what we need to do is hit a break. We'll take some of these calls and we'll continue into the next hour. First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro, Ashley and her team are ready to help you with any and all pest control issues. It could be you need a specific job like mosquito treatment so you can actually enjoy the backyard or the front porch, or maybe need termite inspection and treatment. They can help you there. Or it could be you're just looking for a great local pest control company to be your everyday company that protects you and your home from those little pests. Well, Pest Pro Services has your back. So you can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back, folks. The news and views in the afternoon. Again, 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the conversation. State Representative Philip Insler here in the studio with Eddie and I. And let's go to the phones and talk to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Hey, thank your guest for coming on today. And I just want to let you know that Birmingham and Bessemer both have occupational tax. They have them, and they're both very high crime rate cities. So money is not going to be the fix for morale within a police department. And the morale in the Montgomery Police Department has been and is very low right now due to piss poor leadership. And instead of the mayor flying to Seattle, using $1 million for a travel budget, that money could be spent on hiring the right person to lead that police department. Are you familiar with Project Safe Neighborhoods?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Well, it's about 20, 25 years old. It's been around, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. And what Project Safe Neighborhoods, one of the goals that it accomplished was, in a sense, some cities are still operating, it created a task force, and it was sponsored by the U.S. Attorney's Office, ATF, and local law enforcement. And they would meet. I was a member, one of the two members from the Montgomery Police Department. We would meet every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We would bring cases to the U.S. Attorney's Office where we intercepted an individual that met forbidden person status, who were either under federal or state law, and we would present that case to the U.S. Attorney's Office. If they accepted the case, then ATF would get involved. They would start a federal complaint. There's no use of reinventing the wheel. There's a process already in place, but for whatever reason, the Montgomery Police Department, and I know what the reason is lack. They don't have but a couple of homicide investigators, so they sure don't have anybody to commit to that task force that would get them federal time and get them out of the community. And I don't know a lot about stats, gentlemen, but I do know that Seattle, Washington has a population of about 750,000 people. And last year they had 77 homicides. In Montgomery, with a population of less than 200,000, had about 75. So that's all I know about stats. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate Simpler Days. Yeah, he's a long time, and I think was on the training side of the police, even after retiring from MPD. But, I mean, that's been my read, and I said this straight up to the mayor, that, like, I remember asking him, about, you got confidence in Chief Finley, and then 2 weeks later, Finley's gone. Do we still have confidence in Chief Albert? And then Albert's gone shortly before that, and it seems like we really do need the right fit, whether it's our current interim chief, Gray Boys, or somebody else. I know a search is ongoing, but I think it does come down to department leadership.
Sure, and so far I've heard only good things about the new interim chief, and I think that was a great hire, and it seems like there's already inroads being made, and hopefully that makes even more of a difference. And I appreciate, from the call-in, it's always helpful to get specific programs or initiatives that have worked. Let me just say this on the occupational taxes. I don't want to harp on it because it's just one small piece, again, of a huge picture. But what it could fund is some of these violence prevention efforts. And it's just a small piece of the pie. Then without that funding, crime could be even higher. So I understand the point that, yes, well, maybe Birmingham has it, or, other places have it, and crime is still at statistically higher. But it could be even higher if you didn't have that funding that maybe is going towards violence prevention efforts. So we really don't know, without it, how worse things could be. But again, it's just the point that I'm trying to make is that, the state shouldn't get in the way of cities doing things that they think would be helpful. And that was just an example there where instead of saying, well, hey, let's defer to the city, let's defer to what the mayor's trying to do, the state got in the way of it.
No, I remember those days. That's a bigger conversation about what might happen next session in that regard. What's the sentiment across the body there? Let's go to Eric the dog. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Hola.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Mr. Representative, if you would, please keep this in mind. Don't try to keep us safe by curtailing our rights. Don't try to do more than this is what I'm getting at. We want to stop these people and run their identification to see if they're even supposed to have the weapon. The Fourth Amendment is a real thing, and I'm sick of politicians degrading my rights so that we can feel safe. I got news for you. Take away the guns, they're going to get knives. Take away knives, they're going to get bats. Take away bats, they're just going to go crazy and grow their fingernails out 12 inches. If somebody has a malice heart and no home training, they're going to be violent and do bad things. Now, I get that the whole gist is we want to do what we can to curtail people that we don't. Law enforcement is suddenly powerless to find out where these weapons are coming from, and I don't buy that. I'm pretty sure they come from the same place they've always come from. Maybe if the federal government will secure the border, some of that will go away. What do I know? I'm just some redneck painter. But please, when y'all start trying to fix this, don't take away any more of my rights. I can't stand it. There's so many things that just laws to make people feel safe that have done away. Our Fourth Amendment, when we get in a vehicle, is just obliterated. So I don't understand what people say. If they see somebody with guns in their car, they can't ask them no questions. Never stopped any police officer I ever encountered.
No, I appreciate that point. And by way of background and training, I'm a lawyer now. Have been focused on policy stuff, but the Constitution is something that we, especially those of us that are in office, we take an oath. We have to protect and uphold every constitutional right. So anything we propose, anything I propose, I have the utmost confidence is constitutional. And as I've said, there are reasonable things we can do then within the parameters. But hear you loud and clear, and we got to make sure that anything we do is not taking away rights, but there are things that we can reasonably do, that are constitutional.
I appreciate the call, Eric.
All right, y'all.
See you, dog. Thank you.
Got at the top of the hour break. Come back, and there's, like I said, a lot of other things I want to get into because a lot of these things will be hashed out behind the scenes within the legislature. I think there is going to be some productivity, though, on this issue in the upcoming session, which gives me a little hope. And I've seen it. It's not just a Republican thing. I'm seeing a lot of representatives, Democrat and Republican, say, okay, yeah, there's some things we can work on here, which is quite good. Before we hit the top of the hour, this part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And they're at Clearwater's. Reed Waters and his team ready to help you with tree removal.
That's right.
It could be, you're seeing it's probably about to fall. Like it's old.
Got one of those leaners.
It's not holding up. Well, get it removed before it causes even more damage. Or maybe it already fell in the house. Well, Clearwater's can help remove it for you.
Yep.
They can also do tree trimming. So maybe branches are overhanging or hitting your siding. Or it could be line of sight issues, blocking a driveway.
Right. Blocking beautiful view.
They can help you with pruning that back with tree trimming. And, of course, stump grinding, too. That ugly stump, that eyesore that not only is just ugly, you crack it,
attracted.
Like in snakes and all sorts of things. Yeah. So check out Reed Waters and his team at Clearwater's Property Management today. That number, 430-0376. It's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Vermont officials warning that expected thunderstorms could bring more flash flooding to the already soaked state. Kari Lake winning the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate in Arizona, setting up a battle against Democratic U.S. Representative Ruben Gallego for a seat that could be crucial to deciding Senate control. Pay and benefits for America's workers grew more slowly in the April-June quarter than in the first 3 months of the year. It's a trend that could keep price pressures in check and encourage the inflation fighters at the Federal Reserve. Compensation as measured by the government's Employment Cost Index rose 0.9% in the second quarter. That's down from a 1.2% increase the previous quarter. The Dow is ahead 238 points, and the NASDAQ up 400. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. This is Rich Thomas, starting on a very hot note with triple-digit heat indices, heat advisory criteria, and not many storms on the radar over the next few days. Actual highs will be in the upper 90s, triple-digit 105 or higher heat indices, and lows at night in the mid to upper 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Montgomery police have identified the pedestrian who was struck and killed by an 18-wheeler on Monday. 32-year-old Lavaris Rawlinson was hit at about 7:15 Monday morning on West-South Boulevard at the I-65 South off-ramp. The truck driver fled the scene before police arrived and is wanted for questioning. Hundreds of drivers who paid fines from speeding cameras in Tuskegee will be receiving full refunds. Many drivers were getting up to 10 citations before ever receiving a notification in the mail. The city decided to suspend the program on advice of legal counsel due to several complications with the camera ticket system. The Montgomery Lions Club has opened a children's sensory trail on the riverfront. The trail places special emphasis on sight-impaired youth, encouraging visitors to experience the scenery through multiple senses. The Children's Sensory Trail is the newest segment of the ongoing Alabama Riverfront Greenway project. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and we go trouble down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Again, State Representative Philip Ensler here in the studio. As we continue to talk to our Democratic friends, I seriously find that I get in these moments where I'm on Twitter and I'm like I get the hate flow through you, but then it's like, hey, your neighbor is not your enemy. there's a lot of stuff we have in common, and I almost feel like the national stuff bleeds through in ways it shouldn't. So I'll just say thank you for being here.
Of course, no one's saying it's a mutual feeling, and not to get all mushy, but it's true. I mean, it is easy to hide behind a screen and say all sorts of things. But look, it's I think these kind of conversations are productive, and we can disagree on policy. But as corny as it sounds, that's the beauty of America, that we have that dialogue and exchange, and the idea that we have these conversations, and then hopefully the best ideas emerge, or the best ideas are taken over. Is the way it should be.
So a huge news story, and there's continued fallout. I'll just read the headline. Delta lashes out at CrowdStrike. Their incompetence cost us $500 million, and they have offered us nothing. And I noticed that you got caught up in all that, right?
Yeah, I'm completely separate from my legislative stuff. Every year I do some trips with high school students to expose them to college and career opportunities. And we've been doing it since 2012. And we were supposed to fly out this was last Sunday. Our flight at first it got delayed, then it got canceled. We got rebooked. That got delayed, and it all worked out that we ended up getting out, but it was Tuesday by the time we actually flew out. And we had to rearrange the itinerary, and it worked out. The students had a great trip. They did college tours. They met with different leaders and just exposed to careers in business, finance. But yes, dealing with the airlines, not the most fun. And what's amazing is how there's the impact of it, that you have this one update,
that domino. That's all it takes,
right?
Yep.
And I always say technology can be amazing, but it also can create a lot of problems.
Yeah, I just can't. I guess the last trip I did was Boston, and they started doing the thing. We'll give you a $500 gift card for somebody to not a $1,000 gift card. And I'm like, well, keep going up. Maybe I'll stay another day here.
I've seen some reports of people being stuck in the airport 3 and 4 days. And I just could not imagine. And you don't have your bag. That was several people's problems. Their medications were in their bags. They didn't bring the bags with them. Ouch.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of horror stories like that, and it seems like things have gotten back on track, but quite the ordeal.
And a security failure, that central point of failure, CrowdStrike needs to answer a lot more questions. Well, and I'm asking everybody this, another national story. What do you think did happen with the Secret Service that day where Trump is because we're over 2 weeks now, and they still are not really giving a straight answer, the actual authorities over it.
Yeah. So way out of my lane. But look, what I am glad is that there's been so overwhelming bipartisan questioning of the Secret Service. I think having the joint, having the hearings, hearing calls, from both sides for the resignation. But yeah, there certainly are more questions that need to be answered. And look, it's I know they have a very, very difficult task, and I always say I cannot imagine doing it. All of us here, we can have a day where we're tired, we're off a little bit, we make a mistake. Right. It's literally not life or death, but with them, it is. And hopefully, some change in leadership makes things a little bit better. But thank God it didn't. It's horrible that it happened, but thank God it wasn't any worse. It was horrible because someone died. But thank God it wasn't even worse than that, which it certainly could have been.
Oh, could have been a lot worse. Let's go to the phones, and Cecil's been very patient. Hey, Cecil.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
I'm mad as hell. I didn't notice Mr. Eisner. Is that his name?
Ensler.
Ensler. And you say he's a Democrat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I did not know his affiliation until he opened his mouth. And if he thinks we can throw money at the problem of crime in town, it's not going to work. It's just going to line the pockets of people that are already lining their pockets because they're fully funded. And saying safety stats equal facts, and you can pick your opinion, but you can't pick your facts. Crime in this town is ridiculous. I watched a young man die in my neighborhood on December 27th because of stupidity. Young kids doing big boy stuff, playing craps. This ain't right. And if I can't get along with these people, these Democrats, they kill people,
Yeah,
they
well.
kill babies. Come on, man.
Okay, Cecil.
I try, but it ain't right.
Okay.
It ain't right.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'll get off. I'm very, very upset.
I can tell. Well, I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, let me just say this quickly. I don't think throwing money at it can solve the problem or isn't the end all be all. But as I've said, it's, to the extent we can invest in certain things, that's how I view it, can make some difference. And to that extent, it's worth it.
No, it seemed like there was people wanted the occupational tax before this became a bigger issue. And I'm wondering, is it just for the crime, or is it going to be earmarked, or is it just a general revenue source that we are going to divvy up for all sorts of city projects? Like, it seemed like this was already stuff people wanted before the issue became as aggravated as it is.
Sure. And I think that if I think about it this way, if you have some additional funding, that then opens up funding to say, improve the community centers or have, more than opportunities for our young people, to go to those. Maybe there's more than opportunities for young people to do the kind of programs or the trip that I've done. So again, funding's not going to solve all of it. But if you can properly invest it in young people and opportunities for them, again, in that violence prevention effort, that's just the least, part of it. But again, I don't want to harp on that because it's there's a lot that to Cecil's point, it's not just funding it. And as we talked about it starts at home. It starts in that value system with morals, having all of that to begin with. We have to make sure that we're instilling that in our young people.
Now, I know you are one of the I'd say many, but one of the leaders, I would say, for the Jewish community here locally. And I've seen a lot of takes, let's say, on what's ongoing now, the war in Gaza, but it seems to be expanding, or could potentially expand in a big way around the region. And I know with this most recent attack where 12 were killed. So it's more a general question, like what is going on with Israel right now, and where do you see this going?
Yeah, so I come at this not as an expert, but as someone, I'm the executive director of what's called the Jewish Federation here, and what we do is support Jewish life, Jewish community, locally, but also internationally. So to that extent, we have a lot of partnerships in Israel, work to support, especially when there are catastrophes and needs that are there. The best way that I can describe it and think about it is that the way after 9/11, the focus rightfully, there was obviously then other wars and other issues that were not necessarily those that were responsible, but to the extent that we focused on bin Laden, on Al-Qaeda, in the same way that Israel rightfully should focus on Hamas and its leaders and making sure that they're no longer a threat, focusing on Hezbollah, which indiscriminately just fires rockets from northern Israel. I have friends that live in the north. One of them is a farmer, visited him, there, a few years back, beautiful farm, now has young kids. They've now had to stop, growing their crops and doing what they do because they have to now be in a safer place because of it. So all that to say that, of course, I don't think anyone wants war. Nobody wants a wider conflict, certainly where innocent lives are going to be lost. But, I'm going to be unequivocal in that Israel has every right to defend itself, particularly from those terrorist threats. And, the hope is that yes, maybe diplomacy can then help and stop some of a wider conflict or escalation. But on the other hand, Israel, should not and will not sit by, when there are threats that are out there that they need to neutralize.
Are you surprised at all, and just generally, how do you feel about the larger international community, especially South Africa's briefed the International Criminal Court? You're seeing a lot of folks say apartheid state, genocidal, like that's strong language, to put it mildly. Are you surprised by this response from a lot of other parts of the world, and including aspects of our own society, our own nation?
Yeah, I mean, a few thoughts on it. One, a lot of the countries that seem to be that are condemning and pointing the finger at Israel have many of their own human rights and internal issues where they're either have dictators or supporting dictators. So they perhaps should first focus it on home and focus on themselves. All throughout history, people have either, turned their backs or not been supportive, or at worst, gone after Jewish people, particularly then Israel. Israel has often faced threats from, all its surrounding neighbors. Fortunately, they have peace deals now, increasingly with those in the region. But all that to say that I hate to say it, that this is nothing new. So if the international community and others are going to condemn Israel or seek arrest warrants or go to the UN, Israel is used to that. And Israel's mentality, understandably and rightfully, is look, we need to defend ourselves. And whether everyone's with us or everyone's against us, we need to do what we're going to do. Now, look, of course, there is war it's a horrible thing. There are innocent Palestinians that are suffering and having a very hard time. I come from the standpoint, though, if that's the result of Hamas and a brutal regime that decided to start a war, if they focus on governing and having effective policies and having those within Gaza, Hamas is to blame for all of that. But look, it's a concern. I hope for lasting peace, but the whole term of just peace or just war, there has to be an outcome where people that are committed to peace prevail in the long run.
Yeah, and it's I as I was saying to you off air, and I say this to say my libertarian friends as well. I try these days to look at not only Israel but all aspects of, say, war and geopolitics as pragmatically as I can. I have ideals that are kind of a North Star, but I do worry that we're heading possibly to something wider, which you're right, I don't think anybody necessarily wants, but I just do wonder, where does this go? I wonder what's taking so long, honestly, with Gaza in particular. And maybe it is just how much Hamas is hiding behind human shields. But I worry the longer this takes, the more potential for something spilling out and being even worse occurring. Like you said, with us after 9/11, we didn't just focus on Afghanistan. Iraq comes up, all sorts of different things came up, and people's anger, righteous anger, can be misdirected sometimes.
Absolutely no, and that's why the hope should be that there is not a wider war, and it's challenging times, and we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, well, and I genuinely worry. This is maybe not a fair question, but I think it's on a lot of folks' minds. Biden steps down from being the candidate. We've now switched to Harris. I don't know if you're a Megan Thee Stallion fan, but in terms of him still being president, like, I just wonder, is there a vacuum of leadership, like a visible, strong leader capable, that is an invitation to, whether we're talking the Middle East or we're talking Taiwan? I worry this would be the moment that somebody might try something.
Yeah, look, I think that he, especially now that he has stepped down, can focus on completely governing and being president and not on the campaign side, which I think will be liberating in some ways, to then be able to completely focus. Look, I think presidents, people in office, do juggle both their governing responsibilities and then when it's political or campaign season. But the fact that he can focus solely on governing, I think is a strength right now, and will be a good thing. And, for people that are concerned about his age, about his health, I think thinking about, and I'm sure there are disagreements around it, but that having a strong team around him, having a strong Secretary of Defense, having a strong, military, having a strong Secretary of State, having people in place that handle a lot of those negotiations, the head of the CIA who's constantly shuttling back and forth between, the Middle East, to discuss, negotiations. I think having those people in place that are going to continue to do a strong job is what we can count on. In addition to the president.
Yeah, and I know I'm jumping all over the place, but that's the show. That's how we do conversations here. Before you go, this just came to my mind, random questions. I saw David Bronner, who, power broker, let's say, here in the state, saying, it's a shame we didn't get gambling done. It needs to get done. Do you think it's going to come back from your own sense of things, like in a following session?
Hard to say. I know that there is a lot of fatigue from having gone through it this session and not having it passed. But I'm all for, we got to keep trying. And I give a lot of credit to Speaker Ledbetter, on the House side, and to my colleagues, that the ones that really champion that effort. I know that it's frustrating to not have it gotten done, but hopefully we try again. And that's something where, again, I hear from people of all backgrounds, they want to have that. So we should try, but whether it comes up again, we'll have to see.
And then another random thing that came to my mind, because I just did a drive up to Birmingham Friday night, see my older roommate, go see the new Deadpool movie. It was a good time. And driving up and driving back, there's no accident. There's no accident that is big, but wherever, I guess Calera, and whereas you're going the other way, there's these just choke points. So maybe I need to ask the lieutenant governor straight up, because I know it's his thing, but have you experienced that? Are you kind of liking this idea? Let's make it wider. Let's figure out something with the congestion in the state.
Oh yeah, no, we absolutely should expand our interstates, have more lanes. Look, especially when there's an accident, I mean, that just makes it a nightmare to drive. And look, I would love to see, long term, if to have some sort of, commuter rail, Amtrak. I mean, other ways that people can get back and forth, that can reduce some of the driving congestion. That'd be such an easy way to get back and forth from Mobile to Montgomery to Birmingham to Huntsville. I know that's kind of long term, big picture.
Right.
I'll end on this. I think about, with, what do they call them? The hyper rails or kind of bullet trains.
Or Hyperloop, yeah.
Hyperloop, yeah, there we go. That you can get from one city to another in 15, 20 minutes. I think that would be incredible if we can have that.
If Elon's Boring Company wants to set up a Hyperloop in Alabama, I'm all for that.
Be great.
I think that would be a good idea. I do appreciate the time. I know it was all over the place, but I appreciate you being here, and let's do it again sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. No, appreciate it. And, everybody stay cool and stay safe out there.
Yes, sir. More news and views after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi everybody. This is Rich Thomas, starting on a very hot note with triple-digit heat indices, heat advisory criteria, and not many storms on the radar over the next few days. Actual highs will be in the upper 90s, triple-digit 105 or higher heat indices, and lows at night in the mid to upper 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
I'm Hannah Grantham, and together with Eddie Bader, we are your listing specialists with Forest Meadows Homes and Land.
We know the Tri-County market like the back of our hands. As listing experts, we use top-notch marketing strategies to ensure your home gets the attention it deserves.
And when we say top-notch, we mean it. Professional photos, compelling descriptions, and a dedicated approach that truly stands out in today's market.
We're committed to providing the highest level of service and expertise.
So if you're ready to sell, why settle for less when you can have the best? Give me a call today at 334-368-6358.
Because your home deserves the best.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. All members voted to maintain rates. That's the Fed. So interest rates staying where put right now.
Yeah. Can't afford to drop those rates.
Well, they might be a little worried, well, we might have to up them again, because if you start dropping them, you know the inflation's going to start showing itself even more so.
What'd you say the other day? How much of the just general taxes collected goes towards the service, the debt? Like 76%?
Right. Right.
We ain't dropping no rates no time
76% of all income taxes last month went to service the national debt. That's just interest payments.
Right.
Like, think about, you're stuck under that credit card payment, you make the bare minimum, and you're not taking down the principal at all. Yeah.
Joey.
It's bad.
But I'm glad that we're putting that out there. I just wish they would have started putting that out there when we were at 25% and at 50%.
Right. Well, and folks, look, the consumer price index is down, but look at things like, say, the housing market. Like, all that money they created, it's gone into asset classes, especially real estate. Like, we're in a weird spot.
Very
I know weird is the word these days.
No, we are in a very weird spot.
Again, Americans in general are weird.
Yeah.
We're a weird society. If you look at all history, we're the weird ones, all of us. And we got it good. I think the best place, the best time to ever live as a human being. But because this is so new and different, who the heck knows is going to happen next? This idea that's always sunshine and lollipops and progress. The older I get, the more I don't buy them.
Right.
Let's go to Babs. Hey, Babs, how you doing?
I'm all right, Joey. How are you, bud?
Good.
Been listening, just hadn't called.
What?
I have a question that you probably can't answer, but why is it that the lawmakers' answer to every problem is more money? When Trump was in, I paid $1.87 for gasoline. Now I'm paying $3.09. Eggs were 99 cents, and now they're $2.59. Everything has gone up. Our economy is insane, and they want to start charging us more money. And I just wonder if they realize how many thousands of state employees work in Montgomery that don't live there. If they would get the crime under control, people would shop in Montgomery instead of coming to Prattville, Millbrook, and Wetumpka, and they would also stay in Montgomery. And people are leaving because of the crime.
Well, and I'm at the point now, if I was on the council, I'd be like, number one, we need to get staffed up to the police department.
Right.
Number two, if you can go find some federal grant to do a crime intervention without putting this tax on, go find it. And I'm sure there's something out there. But let's first get the police department with proper leadership, get them staffed
up.
up.
Priority straight.
If the state is interested in changing some of the laws, like there's a lot of things that can be done to make the situation a lot better.
And how long have we been talking about this?
I got a feeling we're going to keep talking about it, too.
Yeah.
I do, too. Eddie. By the way, how is Dan doing?
I talked to Dan via text probably.
Right after the assassination attempt, yeah.
Yeah, we had some interesting takes on it. He's doing well. We had a few good words for each other. It's good to hear from Dan. It's good to really get his thoughts. And to be honest, I keep trying to get him to do more like that.
Yeah.
Because I miss him.
Me too.
But I'm so old school. I don't like changes. But Joey, you are absolutely amazing. You have come so far, and I brag about you all the time about how smart you are. So you have grown to be a phenomenal young man.
Well,
and I appreciate both of you. Y'all
Thank you,
have
Pat.
a great rest of the week.
You too.
Love you.
You've come so far. You used to suck so bad.
I know.
Now
very.
only mildly.
Well, but people say that, and I go, yeah, it's true. You don't know the half of it. Eddie knows a little more.
It's still funny when people, and it's appreciative, but it's always funny when people say, he comes so far.
No, I'm honest about that. I wish I'm not in a place where I could tell the whole, the behind the scenes story. Oh, things are so much better than they were 5 years ago, 6, 8 years ago.
Ever since you got rid of all that hair. You
Right.
feel lighter?
Right.
I mean, when I get a haircut, I feel lighter.
Yeah, though it was a little. This recent one I just got,
Yeah.
it's a little shorn.
You can feel a little bit in the back.
So
there.
like razor burn
Yeah.
on the back of the neck. I'm like,
You didn't get
needs
no
to grow.
powder back there?
I do like it when it feels like a thick head of hair, not shorn
It's
down.
just too hot.
It is too hot.
That's me.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's us?
This is Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Joe, I just turned you on a little while ago. First of all, how much did you pay Babs to call in and say all that stuff about you?
Well, I'm nothing,
I
actually.
thought I heard a gift card or something. But anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't catch who your guest was there in the last segment there, but
It's State Rep Philip Ensler.
yeah, he said something about now that Biden is not running. He's got all this time now, to do all this stuff. He hadn't been doing anything for the last 3.5 years. Do you think he's been running this government? He must concentrate. And I know you use the word vacuum. That's the problem right there. There is a vacuum right between his ears. But, Biden, if you think Biden's been actively involved in running this government, you're greatly fooled. But I was listening to Fox, and John Kirby is the most pathetic piece of crap. All he says when he's speaking is, well, I don't have enough information to make it. We haven't got all the. What is his job?
I guess he's the spokesperson, press secretary for all matters international and with war and whatnot.
But he never has enough
course.
information. What is he doing? Listening to MSNBC or something?
He's stalling. That's all he does. He just stalls.
Well, it's sort of the opposite approach. You remember those classic press conferences Rumsfeld would give as they were invading Iraq?
Yeah.
See, Rumsfeld would try to dazzle. He is a brilliant guy, but so much BS. It's the opposite type of BS. Still BS. Where they go, well, we just don't have enough information, and we're trying to assess the intelligence. Like, instead of being like, I know everything, they're kind of like, well, let's be careful here and real analytical. And
don't want to admit to
I don't like Kirby either. He seems like right out of Central
dodgy.
Casting. If you wanted somebody to like in 1984, let's remake that as a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all like that. Blinken and, winking and blinking there. He's the same way.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, they just get up there in front of the American people on TV at these, at these updates and just spew a bunch of crap and think we're going to sit and go, oh, yeah, we believe that. Good Lord. I wish our military was as efficient as Israel's.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was taking a little siesta there, and the next thing he knows is he's splattered all over the room.
And apparently they didn't just kill the leader of Hamas. I think they also killed the top Hezbollah leader who was there for Iran's president being sworn in.
Got 2 for 1.
Yeah, the little circle's getting smaller and smaller over there, and now they're going, which one of us is next? Hey, what's that red dot on your head? Israel's going to take Israel.
Yes. That's the whole point of
But,
Israel being Israel these days.
Yes, and I think they've got a lot more going for them than America does right now. But I just, all this bull crap that's on TV now with this administration, I just can't really believe any of it. But as the WHO said, we won't get fooled again.
Indeed.
That's right.
So,
Appreciate it, Jim.
Take care,
All
Jim.
right, y'all have a good one.
You too,
I
buddy.
actually saw it. I retweeted it on my Twitter feed at the Joey Clark. Van Halen 5150 era with Sammy Hagar, but in the studio, and they caught it live. The sound is great. They're doing a cover of "We Won't Get Fooled Again."
Oh, really?
And you get to just, it was just, I shared it because I'm like, man, what a player Eddie was.
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen could just rip it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And because he was doing synth parts and guitar parts, adding his own thing, I'm like, that's a master at work right there.
Van
Love
Halen
stuff
was
like
it,
that.
man. Van Halen was it. Van Hagar wasn't bad either. But Van
I
Halen
wish I could, if I had a time machine, one of my wishes would be to be a fly on the wall, to just be able to sit in at Sunset Sound Studios in Los Angeles, because that's where Van Halen 1 and 2 were tracked.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Prince tracked a lot of his stuff, like the Purple Rain era. It's just be able to sit in and watch these guys play. And of course, all sorts of classic albums tracked in that studio.
come out of there, yeah.
One of the last ones still really functioning and going. There are a few around the country, but
I think Muscle Shoals still has it.
I think they do. I don't know if it's still Fame or anything
Yeah, I
like
don't
that.
think it is, but
And I know there are a few around the nation that are still running as proper studios, but honestly, you can do stuff in your
that's
bedroom
just it.
with
It's
a
so
laptop.
convenient to know now, like podcasts. You can do them from your house, from your closet.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Joey, I am working with one of your St. Bede teachers today.
Okay.
Miss Nix is her name.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm amazed. We were talking about, I tell everybody I'm Catholic, and I make sure I give them hell about every other religion. And she said she taught in St. Bede for 35 years. And I said, whoa. Joey Clark, she said, yeah, he's got a big brother and his mom. Tell me about your mom. And I said, yep, that's him. And when I get back after lunch, we're going to have you on the radio. And also, my Russian girlfriend was definitely a teacher at St. Bede while she was there. Her name was Elena Cohn. So she may not have taught you, but she was the art teacher at St. Bede. So I know two of the teachers that were there when you were there. Very nice lady, and just surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah, I hope they don't remember that marble painting I did, like abstract marble painting, and then we had to name it. I got in trouble because I named it Zipper Trouble.
Oh, was Miss Cohn your art teacher?
No, I don't. Honestly, it gets a little blurry at this point, man.
You're so young to have that already.
Yeah, but there's a lot of elementary school that's missing. I mean, certain things could jog it maybe, but
Joey, we didn't smoke pot whenever we were at St. Bede. I guess things changed by the time you got there, right? That's why you can't remember nothing.
No, I didn't smoke pot till I was in college. Oh, wait, I said that out loud.
It does not affect your memory. Otherwise, mine would be unbelievably
What are you
sharp.
talking about? Doesn't affect your memory? My
It does not affect your memory at all. That's
My favorite
it's
anti-pot
pure
commercial.
stupidity.
There's a girl on there, and she said, "Man, it doesn't affect your memory. I've been smoking pot for I don't even remember how long."
Well, I remember exactly how long. I'm a musician. Musicians have a good damn memory. We got to remember all the music.
Right.
And now, Donald Trump, and I feel the same way about Israel and Netanyahu as Judge Knapp does. This is a nasty individual. The whole time Donald Trump was in office, he said, quit building those damn settlements. Over and over again. And they wouldn't do it. And then what really pissed Donald Trump off is Netanyahu was the first person to call Biden and congratulate him for being elected. And did you know Donald Trump and Netanyahu did not talk till the other day. Since then, that's how pissed off Donald Trump was. And he was guarded at his meeting with Netanyahu. So I feel there's nothing good about what's going on in the Middle East. There's nothing good about Israel. There's nothing good about Hamas, Hezbollah. And it damn sure ain't the Holy Land. It's the land from hell. And what are the Republican advertisement signs? This Republican Party state of Alabama does not want to win. We should have yards full of signs. I can't even find somebody to make it. Give me a damn sign from the Republican Party. If you get one on, tell them why. I want to know. Roll Tide, go Trump. Thank you, Joey.
All right. Thanks, Red Top. Anyway, you want to go back to talking about music?
Yeah.
I heard you over there whispering Hot for Teacher.
Van Halen's in my
Great
head.
song.
You got it in my head now, man.
Great song. Like that drum. Dun, 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 dun.
You remember the title of the album, OU812? Van Halen.
Yeah, I think I remember the
Mid
cover,
80s.
yeah. I think I have that on vinyl.
BVD was giving them an award at MTV Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's OU812. It's the name of the album.
Okay.
They said best album for the year, whatever. OU812. And not a clue, you know.
See, I'm in the camp too where I'm not down on like Van Hagar. I
loved it.
I like a lot of that era.
Oh, I loved it.
The 5150 album just fantastic
Amazing.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's very 80s, but I like it. Type of very 80s. Like what's that song? Dreams?
Oh man.
Dun, 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 dun,
That whole
dun.
album is great, dude. That whole album.
Those Oberheim synths, all that guitar work. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I wish with the streaming we could play music. But
yeah, again, it makes no sense to me.
That's why, by the way, you get the same old crap I've come up with.
Well, I see though, even other streams, live streaming and all, if they'll walk through a party that has music playing, they have to quickly stop.
Unless you're Joe Rogan, you can get away with it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because Spotify's got all these rights.
Ah. Oh, I'll make the connection.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Jeff.
Hey,
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Joey. You know, the Red Top has to understand that if you have any intelligence, integrity, tolerance, or life experience whatsoever, your biggest fear in America today is a Democratic Party voter because they just don't make good decisions. And putting signs in your yard makes you a target. So a lot of people are kind of afraid of that because of the ignorance. I'll let you go and listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, well, and I've never been a sign guy. Like, it's just
It'll come, Joey.
It'll
I never
come?
was a sign guy.
And now you're a sign guy?
When Tubbs came out, I put a Tubbs sign in my yard, very proudly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then Jay Quillen, I was on the sign committee.
Oh, well,
Almost
right.
got in a fight over a sign. So
Well, you knew her personally.
yeah, but dude, when I was your age, ain't
I'm
no
not
way.
a sign guy. My
Ain't no
neighbor's
way.
a sign guy. He's very much in politics, but I'm not a sign guy.
It's strange.
I'm not a flag guy. I'm not even a pennant guy.
I like a good flag.
Remember, like, being a kid, having,
Yeah, I
like,
never was a
pennants? Like,
pennant.
I had an Atlanta Braves one up.
I think I had a Braves one, but somebody probably give it to me.
Right. I miss those days.
Miss
Like, I
watching
was there young. I was 7 for the
wow.
NLCS.
I keep forgetting you and Justin are the same age. So yeah,
Yeah.
he literally rode around with me in the
In
icy
95.
truck while we listened to Braves. Yeah, I mean that's
And so, like, I remember, I was 6 or 7. I do remember going to Atlanta, going and seeing the NLCS.
yeah.
And Klesko's right there in the outfield, and sunflower seeds for days around him, a whole halo of it. And, good times.
Man, whatever happened to Klesko? Because I seen him in batting practice one time, and he was knocking them out of the stadium. I mean, just
Man, some of these players now, I watch a home run derby with my grandfather.
Yeah.
They can just
Yeah.
knock the cover off the ball.
Yep.
Though I say bring back the roids. That whole era of Sosa and McGuire, that was a lot of fun. Barry Bonds was fun.
it's baseball.
It was fun. Stop taking it so seriously. And Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
100%.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Wetumpka Jeff.
Hey, we talking to Jeff.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
I think we need to get us. I think we got us a new national anthem. We ain't gonna take it anymore.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that
We're
should
not
be
going
our
to
new
take it.
national anthem.
That could be a good one. Get D. Snyder to recut it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd love to.
Recut it and get rid of. Because they don't care nothing about our national anthem we got now.
It's true.
That's certainly true. And I think at this point, maybe he's been a long time. D. Snyder's a pretty religious man, I believe. Like, despite all the persona he put on for the rock stuff, like, I think he'd be a good fit. Yeah, we're not going to take it anymore. I like it.
We ain't gonna take it anymore. That's right. Have a good one.
You
Thank you, Tonka Jeff. Again, Coach, United States Senator Tommy Tuberville calling in, or actually joining us on the stream if you want to watch.
Cool.
At about 2:30 in the next hour. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, if you men need help, they have your back. In particular, for health problems unique to men. And, you should every year on an annual basis get your testosterone checked.
Yes.
And your PSA. That gets checked at the same time. It's a great marker for prostate health without them having to stick a finger in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, guys, you might be wondering, what's low T? What does that mean? It means that you're always tired, that you lack motivation. You're physically and mentally tired, lacking drive, including a decrease in that sex drive. Like no libido to speak of.
None.
It could be you're also seeing unwanted weight gain, and it's not like you're eating more. You haven't changed your habits. You could be seeing a loss of muscle mass, even though you are trying to work out.
Right.
These are all signs that you have low testosterone, and it happens to guys naturally into their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And a lot of men still want to keep their edge, even if they're getting up there in age. But it's also a lot of guys in their 20s and 30s who have low T problems. So to know, just go by Montgomery Men's Health. The providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Be sure to tell them that you heard about them here with Joey and Eddie, those fellows on the radio. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this? Hello, anybody there? Anybody at all? You called us. We didn't call you. Not hearing anything.
No.
It's a shame.
Wasted opportunity.
Yeah. Wasted indeed. Is there anything we've missed today with like the big news headlines? Of course, we talked about the precision Israeli strike inside Iranian territory as U.S. warships approach the coast of Lebanon.
Yeah.
And Hezbollah is now threatening Cyprus, of all places. So, happy day.
Yep.
And like I said to Phil, I think this is kind of the time where you don't have to be a genius to understand this might be the time for somebody like China to strike.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Now, did you watch the big Kamala Harris speech rally, Megan Thee Stallion performing a hit song?
I did not, but I looked up the Megan Thee Stallion thing.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking lady.
Well, yeah. Okay. Wait, is that up your? That's.
I'm just saying that was a good looking lady.
What are you warm for her form?
I think she's attractive and talented.
Yeah,
and that's all I know about her. That's all I know. She might be a serial killer.
Wait, y'all have gotten on to me for like thinking women are attractive who are Democrats, so you don't feel any shame that?
No, because what I've seen with her makes me still feel like she's attractive. Now, I might watch some more and get to know her a little better, and all of a sudden that attractiveness goes away.
You know, after a performance where there was twerking, did you see what was trending on Twitter?
No.
Hose for Harris.
I thought I saw that, but I didn't know that was really.
The time,
can we
the
get
times we live in.
Is that on a T-shirt we can get?
And, I'm not trying to be, prejudiced here, but if I had to make a choice between, say, Hulk Hogan, brother.
Yeah.
And Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Like Hulk Hogan, at least when I was a kid, told me to eat my vitamins. Megan Thee Stallion seems to brag about her thing. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan, brother.
When we go off air, I'll tell you some really bad things about Hulk Hogan. It might change your mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to say brother with a hard R. But no, no. Oh, yeah, there was that whole news cycle. I remember that. He was all drunk. And now he's born again and stuff.
Born again.
No, I don't think Republicans need to get into a celebrity all.
I agree with you 100% on that.
Right.
I think, for one, it's just silly. And for two, they're paying these people to show up.
See, like Democrats be like, we have Taylor Swift. And Republicans be like, we have John Voight. As everybody shares that meme from Anaconda, him just staring down Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, I don't think that's the smartest approach.
No, I don't think so at all. Plus, I really don't care what celebrities... I don't like celebrities even getting into the politics. You just go make me laugh.
Well, they're people too. They're people too.
I agree, but you just make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to influence me.
So you don't want Kid Rock performing?
I thought it was fine that he performed, but I really don't care for his political
It did
opinions.
seem a little like I really did walk away from that American Badass performance where he's saying, fight, Trump. I'm like, it is true. a lot of white folks have no rhythm.
Now that was the funniest
Like, it was a
part, Joey.
pretty simple beat to stick to.
Dysrhythmia does run very strongly through the white people, and you can see in that crowd. They wanted to. They wanted to find the beat, but they just couldn't catch it, man.
Have you ever done a hoedown, though?
I don't know if I should answer that. You know, I have a hard time lying.
I mean, the dance, you know.
Oh, no. Not that I know of.
This part of the program brought to you, in fact, the entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and her team are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy a home.
Yes.
Or if you're looking to refinance a home.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking to Madeline yesterday about
So great to see her yesterday.
how there is a difference in mortgage companies.
Huge difference.
From like turnaround time. Like what? They said on average like 2 weeks?
Honestly, their average is great compared to most normal, say, especially out of town mortgage companies. They'll take 45 days.
Right.
45 days. She said they're getting them done in 2 weeks. That's incredible.
Including with the VA home loans, which that's a myth around VA home loans that they take forever. No,
they don't.
Not with
when you have
Alabama
the-
Home Mortgage.
Yeah, you have the right mortgage company behind you? Not at all.
Or maybe you're just looking for an appraisal. Like you're not even selling your house right now.
Right.
You're just kind of wanting to know what's the valuation right now. They can help you out with
They
that
sure
there
can.
at Alabama Home Mortgage. They really do it all. Whether, again, you're looking to buy a home, refinance that home, or all sorts of other services, just check them out today. You can always go online to myalabamahomemortgage.com or call them at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always, just stop by Facebook or call us and we'll get you in touch with them.
But of course.
We know Kim and Madeline both. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Gotta hit this break. Be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey, y'all, it's Lewis at the Capital Oyster Bar. We're right down here on this beautiful Alabama River at the Montgomery Marina. Let's talk about the marina. Well, we rent out pontoon boats, and just anytime you like, you can call us up, get down here, rent you a boat, and cruise up and down the beautiful river. All you need is a credit card and a driver's license, and everything else we can take care of for you. We also cook up fresh seafood from the Gulf, y'all. We got a steamer. We steam up things like royal red shrimp deep from the Gulf. We have snow crabs. We have these shrimp from Argentina. Tastes like between a lobster and a shrimp. They're real good eating. Also, we got a grill. We'll grill amberjack, grill ribeye steaks, hamburgers, just all kind of good eating that you can check out at CapitalOysterBar.com. That's the menu to show you everything about renting boats, about the food, and also live entertainment. If you check it out, all the shows we got coming up over the next few months will be listed on there. So we all would come down here hungry and come down here soon because we're looking for you. And CapitalOysterBar.com will take care of everything you need to know.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phone. Talk to Mr. Pink. Hey, Mr. Pink, how you doing?
Fellas, how y'all doing?
Oh, all right. We're surviving.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about politics right now because it doesn't make a difference. But did you guys see the Trump assassination attempt with the Secret Service?
Did we see it? Like there was another one?
No, just on Trump, like the aftermath.
Oh, like the new video that's put out today?
No, just like with the Secret Service and how they respond.
Oh yeah, no, they're not. There's no straight story coming out of these folks, and no responsibility taken. Who's going to get fired more than just the director? Who was there on the day?
Well, kind of got some good news and bad news for you.
What you got?
Good news is, Joey, you and me, we're gonna make a lot of money, and so is our children, man. Because is it possible that what we got is what we got? Like, people they just suck. Like, you saw how they performed on their job. I look around, that's how everybody's performing on their job. Yep. And I feel like that's America right now. No?
Yeah, and there are some folks who do just suck.
Yeah, that's a good point. They do bare minimum.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It really
bare
is.
minimum.
Yeah, so it's not going to take money. Like, it's going to have to don't know, go look in the mirror or something, you know, to change things. But yeah, we're at a standstill right now, and it's not going to get better because, truthfully, we suck, man. Like Dan Morris, that's a man right there. That's a Republican that'll make me want to vote Republican, and not just, you know, because he's so smart, but just how he carries. He's like a preacher or something. You know, that's how I want my politicians. I want them to be like preachers. You know. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, man. The representation is not good. Joe, I had told you a long time ago, man, that Gladiator movie. That's why it should be you. But the King's son, he sucked, man. That's why it should be you.
Yeah, well.
You give a damn. There's a lot of people that care, and there's a lot of people that talk like they care, but they're probably just getting paid.
Yep.
You know?
Well, if that's me, I'm not getting paid enough. But
well, like I said, the good news is with all these people out here that just so stupid, you know, we can write our own ticket, man. That's the good thing about it. But I don't want to sound like a commie, but the reason I be wanting everybody in the community to do good because, like, we have to live amongst each other. Like oh, yeah. You know, who's going to do this job? Who's going to do that job? Who's going to do that job? Everybody can't be the manager. Everybody can't be Joey Clark, you know? So, I don't know, man. I think, you know, I got a good song. Another one bites the dust.
Oh.
Another civilization bites the dust.
Well, no, and to your point, I kind of try to live by the philosophy of I wish you heaven. I wish everybody heaven. Like, even if you did me wrong, I hope you start looking upward in a vertical direction.
Well, I know I saw that trailer for Joker 2, and get ready, boys. Get ready.
Appreciate the call, Mr. Pink.
Thank you, Mr. Pink.
Yes, sir.
He's right. A lot of things do suck now.
100%.
A lot of people, too. And think about all the OnlyFans accounts. Let's go to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Oh, surviving. We're surviving.
That caller, he's pretty succinct in his thoughts, and he's right that we do have a good host on this show.
Well, I appreciate that. And I know y'all do great work there. Say on the service side, say you want to buy some appliances, fill out, say, a whole kitchen.
Yeah.
Y'all can make it happen with the products, but also the great service.
That's right. That's right. It's all... everything that we do is so much more than just moving a bunch of boxes. Because we want you to come in. We want you to tell us what your needs are. We want to help direct you to the right product. We have our own people that can do the delivery, that can do the installation, and that can do the service. And so it's kind of like a one-stop shop. And we just want to take care of you and help you make that right choice for whatever your needs are.
And y'all really do have great products to where it's folks aren't going to have to constantly come back. And if there is a problem, I know y'all are ready to help them, but I know that's part of the sale, making sure people are getting the right product that's actually fitting their needs. Things like a washing machine, for instance.
That's right. That's right. Because there's a lot of customers that come in and they buy a product or have bought a product and they're not happy with it. And they come in, they talk to one of our guys, and all of a sudden it's like you have a light that goes off, and it's like, you know, this is something that you should consider over here. I just had a guy call me, needs to have some projector screens installed in his business. He's got 3 of them. And, you know, you ask him 2 questions, and he's got to go back and do some homework to see which way the joists go, to see if the screen is even going to work in his facility, because the way everything's engineered, you've got to get the right product for the right job.
Right. There you go. So, folks, if you want this sort of expertise and the great selection of products there, you could always go to thinkcohens.com to shop from home, but I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard here in Montgomery, 2515 Eastern Boulevard. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael or one of the team members and tell them, hey, I heard Michael on the radio with Joey and Eddie. That's why I'm here.
Fantastic.
Well, I appreciate it, Michael.
See you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Trump is doing this whole sit down.
Yeah.
And
been watching it here.
Have you been reading the closed captioning?
Yeah.
So I'm some of these clips are now making the rounds before we have Tuberville on at 2:30. We'll have to get to some of this stuff. 'Cause some of these are like, woo.
Quit.
And then the co-chair stepped down because Trump was invited?
In protest.
Because they platformed Trump?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that Israel will exact a heavy price from any aggression against us on any front. It was his first public statement since the killing of Hamas's top political leader, Ismail Haniyeh, in an airstrike in Tehran. His comments did not mention that killing. And the Lebanese terrorist group Hezbollah has confirmed that Israel killed a top commander after a rare strike in Beirut on Tuesday. Ukraine has received the first F-16 fighter jets it has sought for months to fight back against an onslaught of Russian missile strikes. Ukraine has been pushing the U.S. and other Western allies for F-16s for months. Stocks are higher, the Dow adding 302 points, the Nasdaq up over 400. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-8822. That's 800-838-8822. 800-838-8822.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. This is Rich Thomas, starting on a very hot note with triple-digit heat indices, heat advisory criteria, and not many storms on the radar over the next few days. Actual highs will be in the upper 90s, triple-digit 105 or higher heat indices, and lows at night in the mid to upper 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall has already filed an appeal this week after a district court ruled that the Title IX changes proposed by the Biden administration can go into effect. The changes that were made by the Biden administration would add gender identity and sexual orientation to the list of federally protected groups. This would change a lot about how public schools operate when it comes to locker rooms, bathrooms, and the use of pronouns. Marshall says he is disappointed in the decision, saying that the state does have precedent on its side after the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has already made it perfectly clear that the use of the word sex in Title IX language was meant to ensure equality for biological women and not to include gender identity. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
A Gadsden man is facing multiple charges involving sexual abuse of a child. 43-year-old Paul Yother is being held on a $13 million bond at the Etowah County Detention Center. Etowah County authorities say the investigation into Yother first started in Walton County, Florida, but then led to victims in Etowah County. The Mobile City Council has made a final decision this week that starts the process of demolishing the Civic Center in order to get that area ready for a new construction. A contract of $4 million with a demolition company has been approved, so taking down the 60-year-old Civic Center could start in the next few weeks. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Shashi's Bakery and Fine Foods welcomes you, where every bite feels like coming home. Shashi's has been serving up all of your favorites for years in their eclectic homey dining room. Enjoy a relaxing lunch with a glass of wine. Everything from a meat and three to grilled Reubens, fried shrimp, fried oysters and shrimp and crab gumbo, Greek-style snapper, and smoked beef tenderloin. Everything is made homemade, and at Shashi's, the veggies come from the Montgomery Curb Market. If you're craving Shashi's cinnamon rolls, cream cheese brownies, or if you can't stop thinking about their fresh chicken salad, then head home to Shashi's. Put Saturday brunch back on your calendar and enjoy all of your favorites again. Whether it's Friday Eve, a birthday, or whatever the occasion, come home to Shashi's Bakery and Fine Foods. Shashi's Bakery and Fine Foods, an iconic, locally owned restaurant located at 1700 Mulberry Street.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Coach, U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville will be joining us at 2:30 this hour. And a lot of people reacting. Trump sat down with several journalists from the National Association of Black Journalists.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one was Harris Faulkner, known on Fox News.
Yep.
But several other panelists. And, well, it's going to be one of these things. You know, we talk about Rorschach tests.
Right.
How you see what you want to see. I think that's going to be the continuing reality of this campaign. So certain things people are like, oh, no, you can't say that. Like, this has always been the dynamic of Trump.
Right.
Like, he just stepped in it by saying a thing. Well, let's get into it, because apparently I've not heard these yet. Like, we've been in the middle of this show while all this was going on. So let's hop into this.
All right.
Take it away.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
That's, I guess, the opening question and how it went down. Damn, that's
Party of tolerance, right? Acceptance and tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
So there's more that's been dropping. Again, I'm hearing these for the first time as the rest of y'all are. This was, again, at the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago.
Why should he not be there, though? If we that was just the opposite. White people couldn't say that. What gives them the freedom to be as racist as they claim everyone else in the world is? Openly racist.
Yeah. Here's some more.
Mr. Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President, I would love to
and
do
make
it
it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President, are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
Damn. In a hostile room.
Yeah.
Going straight at it. Like,
obviously handles that much better.
But you hear the buzz. It's like there's folks who are like, oh, but then you can hear also like little laughter and like.
But I also hear multiple people trying to ask him a question at one time. They're that triggered.
Right. That too. Like, how do you?
Just because he's there.
Yeah, and again, the chair of this thing, of this association, said, I'm stepping down because Trump was invited.
See you later.
Here's some more. This one's definitely going to make news because he gets into, you know how the media, AP put out a story about what we're about to play.
Okay.
And then folks are pointing out that, hey, AP, when Kamala Harris won and became a senator, you said the first Indian American senator.
Well, it's changed.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of
I'm
that.
asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always identified as a Black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that
Well,
interview.
you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion.
Wow. Man, the tension in that room. And this whole DEI thing, I love the language games that are played.
Yeah.
Biden literally said, I'm going to pick a Black woman as vice president.
Was that a DEI hire?
He didn't say, I'm going to pick the best person for the job, and then he ended up picking a Black woman. He led by saying, I'm going to pick the main filter. As I look at resumes, as I look at folks across this nation and the Democratic Party that could be my running mate, the main filter and consideration I'm going to use is Black and woman.
But that's wrong.
And if you point that out, that instead of you just saying, I'm going to pick the best running mate, and maybe you pick somebody who's Black and woman, maybe you pick somebody else. Instead, when you lead with that, that's what folks are talking about. You're leading with that. It has nothing to do about capability.
Right. But again, you're not allowed to comment on that. You're not allowed to say what you saw
and
know
I think things are just incredibly dishonest now.
They have been. I just like it because it's coming to the forefront where everyone's going to have to face it.
Yeah. Whether you can either do the job or you can't do the job.
Well, we are learning. Let's look at Secret Service.
Mm.
I mean, it's open. People are talking about it.
Right. To be equal, we have to be treated differently, Eddie.
No.
To be equal and find equity, in order to create equul outcomes for people, we need to have certain folks with more power than others who can play picking winner and loser.
It doesn't work out that way.
No, it's not like we can have the concept of we create more opportunity, we maximize opportunity for everyone. We have to have some people be more equal than others,
right,
in order to enforce their vision of equality. It's absurd. But, a lot of folks, you say that, they go, what did you just say?
Yeah.
And you're just living in your feelings. What else are you going to pull out your backside to be pissed about? And seriously, folks, this is not going to come down to the issues. I wish it did. You heard Philip Insler say that earlier. Well, we'll hash it out. Hopefully on the local level, in the back rooms of the state legislature, they can hash it out like, grown people.
Yeah.
But when I look at America 2024 now, it's a bunch of manipulation, brainwashing, emotional blackmail, and a lot of axe to grind. A lot of presumptions going on, all different ways. At least it's entertaining, though. Man. So Trump is asked now, what's the first thing he would do as president?
First day?
First thing he would do as president. Well, I've actually already been president. See, you asked a nicer tone that time. I bet he's going to say that. I bet he's going to say, he's not going to give up that you were nasty to me. Let's listen in.
When? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming in. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down so people can buy bacon again.
People can buy bacon again.
I do like bacon.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like bacon?
Mm-hmm.
Well, vegans and vegetarians.
They eat turkey bacon. That's how much they really do like bacon. What's turkey bacon? Disgusting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It is. It's bad.
Not,
it's like this weird composite.
Yeah. You're like,
what's
even
that
real meat?
What's that fancy postmodern word? Simulacrum or it's like it's a copy of a copy of a copy, where it's kind of paper thin. Like margarine is the butter.
It's like there's one drop of bacon grease in a pound of sliced turkey. It's not good.
Yeah.
And the sausage is even worse.
Here's another clip. Man, what a day.
Stroke were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol. Horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city?
But sir, my question is on those.
What's going to happen to the people that tried to burn
rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the people
sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well,
you would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in
140
Minneapolis.
officers
You know
were
people died in
assaulted that
Minneapolis.
day.
And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in, go in, go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C., they were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying, they were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's more. I'm just going to keep going because what an amazing just scene.
Stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Absolutely.
And who would
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh, my goodness.
me, and I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't ask
you
me
can
a
answer the
question.
question.
She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated
You
your
can answer
statement,
the
sir,
question.
actually.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took two of them and I aced them.
Well, can
I took two of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test?
Mr. President.
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public.
Well, I've already taken two of them, but I'll do it again.
So a lot of the things that they're questioning him on, things that we know this administration is very guilty of. The whole cognitive test.
Yeah.
So can we get the current president to take one?
No.
Of course not. Of course not.
And so the games begin. Again, Coach Senator Tommy Tuberville joining us at 2:30. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you with that roof of yours.
Yes, they are, Joey.
Could be a metal or asphalt roof. And, you should get it inspected on a regular basis. You might as well do it at least on an annual basis.
I would.
And the beautiful thing is when you work through River Region Contracting, you get an inspection from them. That inspection's always free.
Yes, it is, Joey.
If they do find an issue, that estimate they'll give you, always free.
Yes, it is, Joey.
And accurate.
It's been accurate with me every single time.
And they show up on time.
Very professional.
You haven't had any issue with the work they've done.
Nope, not at all.
And they don't leave a mess.
No mess at all. No flat tires, no nails.
And they've
no
done
screws.
work on property where you have a metal roof and asphalt roofs.
Both
right?
of that, and they've done a lot of work for my clients. And all, my clients say the same thing. They're very, very professional. There are no flat tires. That's what everybody's biggest fear is. I'm going to have flat tires after I get a roof. No flat tires.
And they're insurance specialists. So if they do find a problem your insurance company might cover, they can walk you through that claims process and make it a swift and easy experience. So check them out today. That you can always call River Region Contracting at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Man, I kind of want to sit down because we're just getting clips. I kind of want to sit down and see this whole thing just play out because that was remarkable.
Yeah.
But you better believe the headlines are going to be he falsely questions her race or
he
something along
insulted
those
this,
lines.
and he hurt this one's feelings.
Yep. We shall see, folks.
Hey, is he back on Twitter yet? By the way?
Nope, he needs to be. I think
Can he
it would
be?
great.
Elon Musk has allowed it. And he's
Yeah.
just not doing
No,
it. Okay.
and he did when they arrested him and essentially had the mugshot.
Yeah.
That was the first tweet since everything went down. He put the mugshot on Twitter.
All right. I got that. I just wasn't sure if that was him. You know, I fell for that before.
And so, again, folks, this is a Rorschach test. You might have heard all that stuff that Trump said, and I knew it. He's just like my ex-husband. Sorry. I didn't mean to go all psychological on that. I knew it. He's just an a-hole. Or, you know, he's boorish, he's racist, he's sexist, he's ableist, all this stuff. But then there are folks you can go on Twitter like, man, masterclass there by Trump, like holding his frame and pushing back against a race-baiting question. And
better than I.
'Tis the world we live in. And I got a feeling it's only going to get wilder.
Oh, yeah, it's going to get spicier, buddy.
To election day. I say more idiocracy. Bring it on. I think Hulk Hogan and Megan Thee Stallion should have like a contest of some sort.
Well, did you see Rogan, I think, put out a statement last night? It was in one of his interviews that he is concerned that Kamala is going to win because Americans are falling for the BS. I don't see it, though. And we're completely different worlds. I see Americans waking up to the BS, but he's seeing them going the other direction. Makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. Honestly, I said this today on Twitter. Of course, nobody really follows me there. It's possible that in politics, everybody's lying to you.
What?
And at the first opportunity, they have the incentive to do so. They will screw you over. I don't care if they're a Republican. I don't care if they're a Democrat. I don't care if they're a Libertarian, Independent, whatever, Green Party. These folks in politics will say whatever they need to say. Now, I try, again, to hate the game and not the players.
There's some pretty bad players.
But I'm telling you what, this game is leading to demise. We got to hit a quick break. Hopefully we'll have Coach Tuberville here on the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
If you need to rent equipment, you need it fast. You need it to be right, and you need it to be easy. In other words, you need Thompson Rents. We know exactly what you need because we live and work where you do. Our business is homegrown and local, just like yours. Since 1957, Thompson has been with you every step of the way, with equipment to rent or buy that fits your needs and your budget. Today, we've got it all, like Cat compact equipment to rent or buy, including skid steers, backhoes, and mini excavators. Plus, allied brands like Genie, Toro, Almond, and Finn, with pumps, area lifts, carry deck cranes, light towers, and more. All backed by people you probably not only know and like, but who you can absolutely trust. So visit ThompsonRents.com for more details or the location near you. Thompson Rents. We're here for you.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I think we got this thing all set up and ready to go. Because as promised, we have on here the one, the only Coach, can I call him Coach, U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville. Coach, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, Joey, how you like my office here? It looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I do. That's a great setup with the flag straddling on each side. It's a good look.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, we got all the armed services seals at the top, and this is my dad's. He had 5 Bronze Stars and a Purple Heart in World War II, landed at Normandy at age 17. And so, yeah, we're big armed services here, obviously being on the Armed Services Committee, but we got a new camera and stuff that we're working, trying to work it out. So we appreciate you being our guinea pig today, Joy.
Oh, of course. It looks great. I would zoom in a little more. I know it depends on who you're going with, but you
Yeah.
sound great.
Well,
the audio
like I said,
sounds good.
Like I said, we're just now working on it. I can't move up because I got a table, or I'd move up on it. But
all good. Well, it's good to see you, sir. And first, I want to start off with something I know that's been on your mind, been on, for instance, the Alabama Attorney General's mind, Steve Marshall, this Title IX that's about to go into effect, affecting essentially men jumping into female sports. I don't know if you saw, 2 men are now boxing in the Olympics. Where are we at with this insanity?
good versus evil, exactly what it is. I mean, we fight it up here every day, and this is just one of the other things that Democrats, socialists, now are pushing on the American people. They're trying to change our culture, everything that the direction this is going. When you can tell how crazy we are, Joy, when the Democrats think men can get pregnant and have babies. Now, what does that tell you? They believe that 100% in their mind. They believe that. So we're dealing with kooks, to be honest with you, and it brings tears to your eyes to know that the country that we had a chance to grow up in, and now tomorrow, August the 1st, Joe Biden, in his great wisdom, has said, I don't like Title IX the way it is because they're not allowing men to participate against women in sports. So I'm changing the rules. Well, tomorrow it starts. And so it's not safe. It's not fair. Somebody's going to get hurt, as we saw in the boxing. I talked to somebody the other day in Hawaii, Joy. They said they went to a track meet this past spring, and half of the women's track teams in one of the big high schools in Hawaii was men. Yeah, think about that. Now, it's nonsense. And so how do you fight stupid? I mean, it's hard to fight stupid, but we're going to do it, and we're going to try to get this straightened out. Best thing, Title IX, it's come out of Washington, D.C. in 50 years. I coached women's sports from my early age, and it has given girls and women opportunities that they would have never had, learning leadership, teamwork, time restraint, work ethic, all those things that men had the opportunity to do. And now it's just flush it down the drain because the Democrats just don't like women. Yes, I said that. They don't like women because they are trying to force young girls not to play sports, because my daughter or granddaughter ain't playing against boys. It ain't going to happen. Not going to dress in dressing rooms or take showers with them. That's not happening.
Hear, hear. And a big part of this will be the November election, not just for the president, but for the Senate and the House. And how do you see the Republican Party right now and their chances going into November?
Well, I think it's good. All we got to do is talk common sense. President Trump, just stick on his platform. Everything that Kamala Harris has done with Joe Biden has been broken, has been shown that it's not the right thing to do, all the way from open borders to crime to education, all the way overseas to 3 major wars. We're looking down the barrel of a gun of a World War III. Last night was devastating to the world of what happened. I can understand why it happened. Israel's being attacked. They went after their enemies. But I'll tell you, I mean, we're just sitting on the edge of something that could just crack this thing wide open, and we'll be sending our young men and women to the Middle East to fight another war. And we're all totally against that, but we're also totally against wrong in this world. And what Hamas did to Israel, and what Hezbollah is doing to Israel, and what the Democrats are doing to Israel. Kamala Harris didn't even feel good about showing up to his speech last week. I ridiculed her for that. And outside my window right here, Joy, I watched at Union Station, I watched protesters take down the American flag, spray paint all the memorials, Hamas is coming, and burn the American flag and put the Palestinian flag up with ISIS flags and Hamas flags there with them. I'm telling you, the Democrats fought to keep them from being arrested. Well, the people that got arrested that abused the police went in the front door and out the back door, and it's a shame.
It really is a shame. And talk about, I saw some of the brawling with police officers. I mean, it was a pretty heinous scene. And, I'm a big First Amendment guy. I think it's despicable to burn an American flag. But I agree in this sense that there should be at least a year in jail. If you tear down somebody else's flag, you put up another person's flag, you need to be in prison for a good little bit. This sort of behavior. Yeah, there you go.
Private property. You can't deface other people's property. And, during the Black Lives Matter riots and all that, the Summer of Love, where they tumbled all the memorials, the statues that had been up hundreds of years, enough's enough. I mean, the Americans have to take back their country. And what we saw out here, I was here during January the 6th. What we saw out here was worse than January the 6th. It was visibly beating on cops that were trying to keep the peace, and they didn't do one thing to them. But we got people, grandmothers, that are in jail right down the street and have been there since 2021 of January the 6th because they walked into the Capitol, a building that's owned by the people, not by government, and they're still in jail. It's going on 3 years. It's sickening.
Well, and we're very much on the same wavelength when it comes to geopolitics and what's going on in the world. In particular, I'm worried, and I know a lot of others are, with this vacuum of leadership, say the vacuum inside President Biden's head. He's not visible. He's not really running the show at all. This would be the perfect time for bad actors to really take their opportunity, whether it's China with Taiwan or, God forbid, something does happen in the wider Middle East, because that region could go to pieces and really create a problem we can't even understand at the moment.
Yeah, Joe, he hadn't made a decision in 3.5 years. People behind the scenes, there's deep states running this country right now. Kamala Harris is off campaigning, trying to be the face of our government, which God forbid that happens. But even if she were to win, she's not making decisions. You've got a group behind the scenes, the elite people, globalists that want to have open borders. They want to be like Europe. Europe has been overtaken by immigrants. London's been overthrown, Paris, Berlin. They've got more people there that are non-German, French, non-UK than anybody. And it's happening here. They want the same. This is the Big Apple here. This is the plum that the Democrats, socialists, communists want. They want the United States of America. And if this goes down, heaven forbid what happens to the rest of the world. And you've got Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Schumer and Pelosi. They're all trying to do it because they want control. They don't care about anything other than power and control.
Indeed. And, one thing that's continuing to trouble me is, I was seeing some of your colleagues in the Senate rip into the acting director for the United States Secret Service. Is we're still not getting a straight answer from these folks. And I don't want to throw a tinfoil hat on, but sometimes incompetence is so negligent, you go, you did this on purpose. But unless we get a straight answer, my mind's still going to be there. Where are you at on this? It's like also the press has buried this story that the president was almost shot and killed.
Hey, he came within a millimeter of losing his life, having the back of his head blown off.
Yeah.
And it's like it didn't happen. And as you said, we bring the people up here that were responsible, the Secret Service administration, and their deal is, hey, we don't want to jump to conclusion about, negligence and all that. Number one, it was negligence. There was no communication from the local police to the Secret Service. But if you're in leadership role, you don't have to fire anybody. You just make 4 or 5 calls to the people in charge, say, listen, you're on paid leave until we find out what happened here. You do not have any other duties. But nobody is even, in this administration, nobody's held accountable. From Afghanistan to this, the lady that was over Secret Service, she was the former head of security for Frito-Lay and Pepsi. Now, that gave her the right, because number one, she was Joe Biden's best friend. They put her in charge of the Secret Service, and what a catastrophe. The training obviously has been bad. We've had lack of people wanting to get in any type of law enforcement or military. And where does it come from? It comes from these woke policies, these DEI policies of the Biden administration. Folks, you are a lot less protected in the United States of America now than you ever thought about being. And it goes down every day because of the type of people they take in, the training they give them, and it's more about diversity, equity, and inclusion than anything to do with doing the right and proper thing for the American citizens.
No, and a final one, and a little bit of a curveball, and let you get out of here. I this morning caught about a 20-minute clip of a lot of your colleagues on the Homeland Security Committee. I think it's a bill Josh Hawley is pushing, Senator Hawley is pushing, going back and forth about banning stock trading. And I know there's a lot of details to be worked out and massaged, thus the 20-minute argument conversation, and they're still in committee. But have you heard any word about this, and would you be for, say, some sort of restraint on the trading of stock for sitting members of Congress?
Well, I'm in the top 5 of them after me. And,
Right.
Hey, I coached. I made a little money, okay? I invest in real estate, and I'll give it to people that invest in the stock market. I don't know anything about the stock market. I don't hear anything up here that gives me any advantage that I hear in hearings or anything like that. Everything is public knowledge. You can look it up on the internet, anything that I see, but not one time have I ever called my stockbroker and said, hey, you got to buy this. It's going to go up or going to go down. It's nonsense. And here's what gets me. It's $174,000, okay, up here for salary. It hadn't been raised in 12, 15 years, which is nonsense, because there's people up here now that actually live off this. And there's no raise for any kind of inflation, or anything. So what's going to happen? We're going to continue to have people dropping out, and you're going to get people that don't need to be up here, that's coming up here making decisions for the United States of America. We have too many bad actors as it is, to be honest with you, that are up here for power and for glory. Hey, I'm up here to help. And people in Alabama want to send me home, vote me out. Hey, I'm all for that if that's what you want to do, but I'm representing the people of Alabama in this country, and I'm not doing it for any personal or financial gain whatsoever. Josh has been on this. Hawley's a good friend. I don't know why he's broke down about this. I guess because Pelosi has made a lot of money over the years, not just thousands, but millions. But I don't know anything about that. But I will tell you, if we continue to limit what people can do, the right way, you're not going to have people coming up here, and it's just unfortunate right now. We're looking at a situation where this is not a great job, but I like it because I'm helping people, and that's the reason I came.
Oh, here, and I appreciate that answer because it was on my mind watching it this morning. But I appreciate your time too, sir, and let's do this again sooner rather than later.
All right, Joy, keep them going down there. I'll be in Montgomery soon. I might stop by and visit with you.
Would love that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Again, folks, that's Coach Tommy Tuberville, Senator Tuberville. Always great having him here on the program. And I would love a studio stop by at some point. I think that'd be pretty awesome at the end of the day.
Heck
Actually have him sitting here chatting with us. And I didn't mean to put him on the spots too much, but I think it was fascinating. Rand Paul going back and forth, Mitt Romney jumping in. Like, it didn't fit along normal lines. Because some folks are like, I'm all for if you want to say a sitting member can't trade at all. Mm-hmm. I'm for that. But there were aspects of the bill that would make you divest.
That's what I didn't like.
Divest from if you have shares in a private business, divest if you have public interest shares. No. Like, you could, family farms, you got to. Right. So there's.
Or the whole corporation I started.
Yeah.
And made for myself. Now I want to get into politics. You're telling me I've got to get rid of that?
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on. But if a coach comes to the studio, how mad are you going to be if I bring in a football and I say, hey, man, toss me the ball, coach?
I'm not going to be mad at all.
All right, you going to hold the camera?
Big coach, it's a good day for him. He's not having to wear his helmet.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll turn Eddie into a make-a-wish middle man or a middle-aged man. Yeah.
Yeah, he might get upset later on when I try to sell him a house, though.
No, I do appreciate the time. And no, he sounded good there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He sounded in good spirits.
Yeah, they're working on, I think, the media side of things.
I liked his office.
Yeah. Well, and I do that around the house where it's things to help me remember where I came from and what's important. You don't see it every day, but, occasionally you catch a glimpse. It sort of reminds you this is who you are. 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the conversation. Let's see if I got time here. No, I do need to hit this break. If you want to get in on the conversation, hold your horses. We'll get right to you on the phones.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program. Yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This is Frank Bertorelli. We'd like to take time out to thank Blue Water Broadcasting for their years of help in growing our business. Over 25 years with Zap Pest Control and still growing thanks to Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. This is Rich Thomas, starting on a very hot note with triple-digit heat indices, heat advisory criteria, and not many storms on the radar over the next few days. Actual highs will be in the upper 90s, triple-digit 105 or higher heat indices, and lows at night in the mid to upper 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Have the best looking lawn in the neighborhood with help from Capital Tractor. Wet Bobo here. Don't miss our Buy a Mower, Get a Blower sale going on now. Buy any Kubota mower on our lot and get a Stihl handheld blower absolutely free. Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back, folks. News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. If you do want to get in on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. Al, this didn't, I don't know, this moment where Trump is at this sit down, National Association of Black Journalists, more and more clips jumping out from it. Let's tune into this one.
Prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to different topics.
I didn't notice you
now.
do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
Sir,
I have
if you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
to. We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you.
we
You're the
can.
one that held me up at 35 minutes.
Oof, God.
Yeah, seriously, there's some tension going on in that room right there. Daggum.
Yep. Well, I think one is just trying to get the go to the other one. It's just going back and forth with that.
Yeah. Like, what a what a day in news. Like, I'm trying to see, is there any more else that jumps out from that? Not seeing it immediately.
White Dudes for Harris raises $4 million with a Zoom call.
Oh, really? Nice.
I didn't know there was. I thought it was the White Ladies for Harris. I didn't know there was a White Dudes too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's part of me that's like, I wish I was completely immune from like the consequences of who ends up in charge.
Yeah.
Because there's part of me that I have these moments like, fine, go ahead, run things. Whatever you want, you can do it. Let's see how it works out. Let it go to hell.
See how it's working out.
No, let's do it faster. Let's do it faster. Let's get into
that.
more debt. Let's get more people killed. Let's get more people in a system of dependency where these rich, manipulative liars are able to buy you off while they keep you stuck in a system that keeps you poor.
Yep.
As they steal the value of your money and do all sorts of other nasty things. But anyway.
Well, the thing about big government like
there are moments where I have that
Sure.
sort of feeling.
Well,
like, you can have it. Take it.
But you have to be careful, Joey, in your industry and mine too. If the government takes over, well, we're done. The government, they don't buy ads.
Okay.
Well, what are you going to do then?
Nothing. Why should I do anything?
You'll be dependent. That's what you'll be.
Mm-hmm. Just how they want you.
No. But you're right, but no.
You don't want to be that way? You still have that real estate dream?
I still got that snorkeling.
Yeah,
dream.
no, actually, that's what we need to do. Just leave.
I mean, that's the thing. In America, and that's what I was told this from the time I was a kid, time I can remember, you could do anything you want. If you want to be president, you can. But if you want to be the garbage man, you can be that too. I don't care. Just do something. Don't be that lump of coal sitting on the couch sucking off the world. And that's what people are doing.
Yeah.
Just living off the government, living off you and me, because for whatever reason, they feel they don't have to work. And right now, they don't have to, do they? I mean, their power's being paid for, their rent's being paid for, groceries are being paid for.
And by the way, there might be some people listening going, they're talking about poor people. I'm like, no. Actually,
No.
I kind of, like, I don't mind safety nets for folks who are really down and out. I'm talking about all you corporate namby-pambies that are constantly suckling off the taxpayer, acting like, well, we're so important, we have to be bailed out. We have to have a special subsidy.
Look at all, just cut out the corporate welfare. Just
Yeah.
the corporate welfare.
Exactly.
You see companies like Walmart fold tomorrow, which is a good thing, by the way.
I don't go to Walmart.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, my grandfather said he was going to Walmart. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I don't usually chastise him.
No, that
because he's earned the respect. But like, what are you doing?
I hate it, but a lot of people are trapped, you know. And yeah, you can spend the money and go elsewhere, and I wish more people did. But I feel bad. I go to Amazon. What am I doing?
Well, we got to hit this very quick break.
All right.
Be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Sharon at Whitworth Farm Equipment now has a qualified and certified mechanic. Gary Baker can do it all. They're here to keep you in the field. Your tractor should work as hard as you do and keep working. For all parts and service, come see Whitworth Farm Equipment for all tractor parts, implements, and trailers. And now selling pine straw rolls. Go to Whitworth Farm Equipment, 285-9977, or at 7458 Deatsville Highway.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones.
Boom.
You all right?
Yeah, just beats in my head here.
That's a full song pretty much made. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Ray Bowles from Brattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
All right, this is going to happen, guys.
All right.
I had this red van
Mm-hmm.
that I sold years ago to one of my installers, Bobby, that installed tile for me, and he worked out until he retired and couldn't work anymore. And apparently, unbeknownst to me, he sold it to somebody else. And this guy's driving around the community acting a crazy person in a van with proper carpet on it.
Ray.
I know. And I don't know who this person is.
What?
I don't know how to get the name off the van, and I keep getting calls and complaints about his driving. It's not us. If I'd have known that was going to happen, I'd have just sent the darn van to the junkyard and got
Right.
$300.
Right.
Dang. Well, it's not y'all. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah, please get the word out that this is what had happened. We sold the van. We didn't take Prattville Carpet off because he was still working for us. He sold it, but did not take Prattville Carpet off because he's retired and didn't think about it.
Right.
We got problems out here, guys. But flooring ain't one of them. So if you need a new floor, call us, 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that new floor. How about that?
There you go. Again, folks, at 285-8117. And be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
And if you see the red van, wave him down for me and tell him, please take my name off the van.
Right.
Here.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ray.
See you, Ray.
So what did we learn today, Eddie? No, people are like, oh, Tuberville's going to be pissed you asked that question.
No, I think
sounded like his answer was straightforward.
As somebody who's often thought of that, I'm glad you asked him that question, and I appreciate his answer. And I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think we really want politicians that we're scared to ask tough questions to.
Yeah. Well, and I got to do it on occasion.
I mean, I thought it was a good question, and I thought his answer was good.
Now, this is why I haven't invited on certain officials, too, because eventually I'm going to ask something they're not going to like. But I'd tell you what, I'm going to say it on air right now. I know we're going over time. I really want Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth on the show. And I know how to get him on. Because I would love for him to be on the show, in particular, because I always kind of joked about, but didn't think it was a terrible idea, widening 65.
Right.
That trip just to Birmingham this last weekend, I'm like, why is there an extra 25, 30-minute wait and there's no wreck? Do we not have enough capacity on the exits? What the heck is causing these bottlenecks?
Oh, dude, I'm on it.
And because it's dangerous. It's stop, go. Oh, go real fast, like go 50, then
and
dead
slam
stop.
on, right.
Yeah, so I like his idea and I want to talk about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Like what? You've been stumping for that the whole time.
I have been, but even Byron Sheehy said he didn't think it was a great idea to open up the 6 lanes, and I wanted to have that discussion, but I couldn't have it.
He'll be back after election season. He's up in Wisconsin with the fat girls.
He's loving life.
Yeah, life is too short not to dance with fat chicks.
That's right.
On that note, Greg Budell and Happy Hour. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Federal Reserve says that
Greater progress has been made in reducing inflation to its 2% target, a sign